Once again, the 1PW interrogation series here today. I'm Anthony King of James, and our guests, Tracy Smothers, Chris Hamrick.
Hey, man.
The tag team of Southern Comfort. Killing them. And we'd like to thank our sponsor, Red Bull Energy Drink. Red Bull salutes my hometown of Buttfuck, Idaho. Population 69. Salute.
We're all jet-lagged here and just trying to get our head right.
Yeah. So.
Are you asking the questions?
Yeah, I'm asking the questions. They're just standing there, they're giggling a little in the background. They'll make funny faces. Yeah.
You're a real man. I think this is my re-retirement tour.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think I need to. We got a major carry fee going on. You know, I'm gonna like direct traffic in this 4-man tag or something, and that's all I got.
It fades away, fade away.
That's it.
That's it. Let's talk about the tag team of Southern Comfort. How you guys came to be, because you guys have both been on the indie circuit for a long time, and then it's only the last few years that you've been together as a team. Came together in XPW in what, 2002?
Yeah.
How whose idea was it? How'd it come to be?
Cody Montos called me and Shane Douglas, and Cody really liked Chris and wanted to do something with him, and they wanted me to come up, but I'd actually got out of the business in 2001, and I'd worked a couple of times, before then, but it motivated me because I always saw Chris, had a lot of talent. It looked like they were trying to do something, and Shane and Cody, those guys.
Yeah.
So, that's what got me back doing it, and it was fun. I wish it would have lasted.
But it was their idea to put you together?
Yeah.
Actually, I was middle office for XPW.
That's right.
No. And
Hamrick, where's our money?
I
don't know, man.
They actually, originally they wanted me to team with Johnny Webb because he was doing something like
White trash, right? White trash.
And Johnny's an alright worker, I guess. I've never really watched him, but I just didn't see us clicking. And I went to an indie show in Cleveland, and Tracy was on it. And I actually had one of the new XPW TV shows, and Tracy sat down and watched it. And I'm asking him, I'm like, do you have heat with Rob Black? And he's like, no, man, Rob Black, we got along good. So I called Kevin Kleinrock, and I'm like, hey.
So I worked for him before.
So I called Kevin Kleinrock, and I'm like, hey, bring Tracy in, and let me and him be Southern Comfort instead of me and Johnny Webb. So
that's right. You had both worked for XPW when they were in California.
Yeah. At different times.
First, and then you would just before the move to Philadelphia, you were in your feud with Chaos.
And it was before that, right? It was a little bit. Yeah, it was a little bit before the move to Philly because I was with them then.
Yeah. And then.
Bill Burns sucks, by the way.
Don't
See what I got to deal with.
Don't
cut their face off.
Don't go to the finish so early. Don't go to the finish.
All right, go ahead.
Keep it in the ring
so,
for the first.
Yeah, that was basically it. Johnny Webb, and they wanted to put us together, and I was like, nah, I really don't want to do that. So they brought Tracy in, and I thought it was a pretty good choice.
I think Webb was injured at that time too.
Now I'm re-retiring.
See, we'll talk, and he'll talk to the camera. I think Webb was injured at that time too.
Who knows?
I'm just saying.
I just didn't want to team with him.
I'm just saying.
I mean, not that I would bury anybody or nothing, but I just didn't want to team with him.
He could bury ice cream. Oh my God. He says, give me Buck. I mentioned his name, I almost get unbooked. I said, Buck, you got more heat than the sun. Him and his kid Adam Armour, I'm going to put them together as a heel team. I'm not kidding you. Matt, I better not say it. I shouldn't say it. Somebody's taking the idea. Heat-seeking missiles with a mask on, with a like a torpedo or something, and then in parentheses that, and then a cape, wristbands, and maybe, I don't know, something else. A couple of bandanas or something like that. That's marketable.
I don't
let y'all smart off and bury everybody.
I don't understand why I have heat, but if I do have heat with you, fuck you. Okay.
No, that's good. No, it's good that you said that. That's great. That's great. It's going to make the rest of this easier.
I'm one of the nicest guys in the business. Why do I have heat with people?
Why do you have heat with people?
You have more heat.
You couldn't get to from the airport to the hotel today without tying Austin Aries shoes together.
That was pretty funny though.
Yeah, that was good.
How am I going to get heat by playing ribs? Come on, this is a business for ribs.
You want to know how you can get heat by playing ribs?
Jeez.
We'll talk about it.
I'm sure we will.
We'll talk about people's hotel rooms, and we'll talk about
Oh,
pillow fights.
God.
Because the first
That's
rule,
what they want to hear.
the first rule of Pillow Fight Club is you don't talk about Pillow Fight
I
Club.
was not a part of that. I was not a part of that.
By the way,
free.
fuck you. All right, go ahead.
Oh
I
man!
ain't touching that. He's always been cool to me.
Damn.
But
Okay.
me. I almost get unbooked if I bring your name up.
Okay, so
You mess with the girlfriends, these fellows, whatever. I mean, it's just unbelievable stuff I hear. I don't know, man. I'm just asking.
It's all untrue.
So you guys can put together as a tag team at XPW, and you're working Matt and Josh,
Shark Boy and Angel.
Shark Boy and Angel.
Yeah.
Then there's that tag in Pittsburgh where the top rope
The ring broke.
Oh, I mean, if there's going to be any display of being a ring general, of ringmanship, of knowing how to work, it's top rope breaking, and you guys still going 15 more.
Yeah, but basically we just beat the shit out of them with the rope.
Christian York and Joey.
No,
No, it wasn't
Doran.
York and Matthews
Doran.
because it was.
It was Doran and Matthews. I mean, Christian York and Danny Doran.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because only the one of them came into XPW.
No, actually Joey came in too, but later on, or earlier on, because he was in the four-way with Zebra Kid, Johnny Storm, Jerry Lynn, and Joey Matthews.
Was the other one?
Yeah.
Oh,
Sure
Seeking
was.
missiles. It's marketable.
I know my wrestling.
See what I mean, man? I ain't got nothing to do with that.
Okay, so anyway, so
hanging out.
XPW, after that Pittsburgh show, XPW closes down. Now, how did the
Checks
two of
weren't
you?
good.
Now,
Checks never got made good.
no, how much
Yeah.
you owed?
I'm old. I can't remember to say that.
No,
I got my money.
yeah,
Because I was middle
He's a
office.
stooge.
because you're middle
I
office.
was
Yeah,
middle office.
So you-
Dude, she's a stooge.
I'm lucky. I was only owned
Your office.
100. I was only at 100.
It's not my deal.
Uh,
I didn't get mine. Rob Black. Where's he at? I didn't.
he's under something. Indictment. Yeah, they're
Still
trying
in trouble.
to reinstate those charges. Last I heard.
Yeah.
Now, how do you guys stay together as a tag team? Because at that point, you're living in Tennessee. He's living in Nashville or
I think Norm put us.
I think Norm was actually the first
Norm
one to
Connor.
Norm
get us out there
Connor.
at SPW.
Norm Connors from IWC in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
And he brought you guys in. Yeah, he brought you guys in, and you worked
Jimmy Jacobs and Fabulous.
Yes.
Fabulous,
Fabulous John McChesney.
which is one of it's the loudest I've ever heard an IWC crowd. Honest to God, and and I've been doing their commentary for 3 years now, and that crowd could never have been happier than to see the two of you guys together as a tag team. They wanted to bring you in as heels.
No. Norm Connor told us we were babyface. Me and
He
Tracy
did?
fought it.
Oh,
He was like, no, we have to be heels because we're working two young baby faces. They're not going to cheer us. And then as soon as our music hit, they started clapping. And then when we walked out, they were like, oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Tracy. I said, maybe we
Trash
should have been
and
babyface.
bird.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah.
of all the things that you've been really, really wrong about in your life, Hamrick, this is just another one of them.
Yeah, Norm Connors came up to us after the show and he goes, I know my crowds, right?
Yeah.
And I went, yeah, you sure do. Because we were total babyface.
Yeah, that crowd was mental for you guys. What were we saying? Yeah, it was between XPW closes down in March, I believe, of 2003.
Yeah,
Is it
something.
February or March? And Norm Connors brings you into IWC, and when? That's got to be
2004.
almost a year later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, in that year, were you guys trying to get it together as a
I
tag
didn't-
team, or?
I got out of the business at the end of 2001, a little after 911, and I went back and did that with Chris for however a few months.
Yeah.
That's about the only time I worked. I had
Yeah.
another job, and I wasn't really into it. I got motivated with Chris, but I didn't ever think I would get back in the ring. Period. And what got me back in the ring was the memorial show I did for Brian. And
Oh, for Brian Hillebrand, their show in Tennessee. After he passed, and his missus still had a lot of medical bills for him. I know Cody and a
Cody
few of the
Barker.
guys got together to
when
organize.
Cody called me about this,
Yeah.
and Shane, they were all close. Yeah.
All out of DiNucci School in Pittsburgh.
Yeah. Just like, Chris Candido, before we did this interview, was on my heart before I first come down. He is a lot. And then you had your thing in Back in Black, come on.
Yeah,
That happens a lot.
yeah.
That happens a whole lot. And it's
Candido's somebody
it's It's way over me, but he's one of the reasons I got back in the business. In 2004, my New Year's resolution was I wasn't going to get in the ring again. And I was going to do the job I had. I worked as a bodyguard. I bounty hunted. I repoed cars. I was a collector and pretty nasty stuff. But I wanted to do something to get some people behind me to do something on my own, run my own, something that was good, positive, help provide jobs. Because when I got out, I get on the internet, I never did, and I saw all my friends dying. So they still are. And I wish you could do something to help. I'm talking with some people, a few different people, trying to do something, but it's so hard. I've been so close before, and there's always somebody there to scam them for a lot of money that's not wrestling people, that have no respect for our business and the people in it. And it's just too bad.
It's one thing to do it, it's another thing to do it
You
right.
see young, hungry guys, and you wish that when I was their age, I begged for a day off, and I'll ask them, always ask them, so what do you have this week? They say they're off, or they're working Saturday night, and you knew they would want to do it every night. And it's a shame, because it was territories. They didn't get out of their respective boundaries. And I know I'm getting off talking about that, but it's the business as a whole. There's not as many jobs. And there's so much negativity with everybody trying to hurt everybody's shows and jealousy. But used to it was at least they honored their territory and they didn't get out of it. They didn't really get along, but they didn't do nothing to hurt the business because they had respect for the business. But now I can't run McDonald's. You have some people that run it that don't, have any business running it, and they're just there for the scam and their ego and whatever else. And you see some top guys that I think that should hand the torch down a little more to the young guys. You don't see that, and it gets predictable. And I don't know. You see a lot of ego. Jealousy is too bad too. So I'm just hanging out. I'm just glad to be here. I got rocked the other night. I think I had concussion 29 the other night. I thought I was getting hit with a pan. It was a little heavier, and oh my God, I turned around and about to drop me. And that was it. And that was last Thursday. And I was off Monday, and that was it. I worked Tuesday, Wednesday. Got here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we had to. We weren't sure. We weren't sure we were going to get you last night.
I got to work a lot of territories as a kid when there were territories, and so I got to know a lot of people and try to help a lot of people because they helped me. And now they run shows, so that's why I can stay booked. I try to get Chris booked. He with all of them. It ain't because he ain't good in the ring.
Fuck you all.
See? That's what I got to do. But it used to be like that, and it was a lot better because, like you see, young guys, and they want to work every night, and you got to travel the world. But as long as I've been in the business, when I retired, I didn't ever think I never went to Europe, and I got to go to Germany once, and this is my third time for one PW, and so that's great. I'm 43 years old, so I'm just glad to be here. You hear the pressure and everybody worrying about their spot and this, and just enjoy it, have fun. You don't see that as much anymore. Yeah. Guys that have stories and more camaraderie. And I remember seeing Pitbull Anthony and New Jack fight to the death in Elks Lodge, Queens. I mean, just trying to kill each other. It built up, and they both was, it built up for a while. But the next night, Mark sucker punched Mikey. First two there, kicking ass was New Jack and Anthony just wiping them out. Then afterwards, they're all going, "Oh man, you nailed that guy! You hit him! You this ain't hug, kiss, start crying." Then they drink a beer or something. Even then, it was like that. But now, when I got out in 2001 and come back in the summer really of 2004, as far as somewhat into it, I really didn't get my head into it in 2005. It looked like some Road Warrior movies where they're all killing each other for gas. Civilization's over. I mean, just, there wasn't as much, guys you knew in the past or in a bad way,
Well, let's talk about, you're talking about now, let's talk about the beginning. Let's start with Chris. Chris, how'd you get into the business?
My first match was on Raw against Tatanka.
Well, according to obsessedwithwrestling.com, that's where you started.
Right away, Heat. Right away.
Tatanka's back on Raw. He's back on television.
Yeah. Good for him. Okay, so anyway.
How'd you get started?
My dad bought me a ring for my 9th birthday. Had a big ring set up in the yard. And
what the fuck are you talking about?
Swear to God. Sure did.
Okay.
And
I'm gonna take that can away from you.
I know. Sorry. I have it. I'll drop it. Let me get the Doc Coke here.
Yeah, he bought me a ring for my 9th birthday, and I pretty much could go watch wrestling and see somebody do something, go to the ring and do it. remember the first time I saw Brian Pillman do a springboard, I was like, oh, that's awesome. So went outside, tried it, busted my ass, got back up, tried again, and been doing it ever since.
So your original gimmick was self-trained Chris Hamrick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, until, like, I could do the bumps and all that shit and thought, I was great until Ricky Morton taught me what psychology was, and I was like, there's no need for that in wrestling.
Ricky
But,
Morton
yeah.
taught a lot of people what psychology.
Oh,
Yeah.
Taught me one night in 17 minutes more than I had known
Yeah.
in 4 years.
Yeah.
That's a
right
shocker.
there. All of them were like
Shut
that.
your yap.
The old timers, they call it in the ring, and they could go off the feel of the people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And get their emotions, and you see some of that missing now, the facial expressions, and that. One guys, a lot of times their time's cut short on TV, or they don't get much time, and they're just trying to get their stuff in, and you don't pay as much attention to detail, I guess you'd say. Because what it transcends is how you sell. Bobby Eaton, when he's in his prime, he would always ask whenever it was a kick or whatever move, he goes, how do you come to that? So he would know how to take it and make it look better. And he'd sell that extra 2 seconds to get that, whoom, where now it's just bam, 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 bam. But
We're going to be, I'll warn you now, we're going to be jumping all over the place. Because as soon as we get on one topic, Tracy jumps to something else. And then I want to ask him a question about
Bobby
it.
Eaton's the nicest guy in the business.
Fuck Bobby Eaton.
See what I mean?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome
Nicest guy in the
to
business.
Burn Every Bridge, starring Chris Hamrick.
I'm just gonna blow him up. I ain't gonna burn. I'm just blow him up.
Well, listen, tell me something then. You've had plenty of experience with training people now later in your career. You were did you do some stuff in OVW or Deep South or
No.
you
I
were training, you were helping train for the Fed for a while.
Yeah. First time I did it was for Paul E. at ECW. I did it for 2.5 years and worked too. But I always worked with young guys. You hear that? You say that?
Fuck Paulie.
See what I mean? See what I got to deal with? That's what they want to hear, though, right? They want to hear you bury everybody.
Yeah.
That's the deal.
It's a shoot.
But I always was in a position I started in '83, but about '86, I was always in a position to have to work with the guys that were cutting their teeth right there and on the job training, at the interviews, everything. And, from '86 on. And then in '97, when I worked for Paul E., that's the first time I ever actually was a trainer for an office. But I did that 2.5 years, and I got more out of that than anything I ever did for myself. Was just helping guys learn how to do it. Because I went to school to be a coach, and did. And you got to open up your heart and open up your ego. Sometimes the best coaches aren't always the best players. I got it.
I swear to God.
But I did it there for 2.5 years, and then I went on just Cornette and Dreamer would hook me up on local house shows and some TVs for ECW and WWF. It was then. And then I got the trainer job in 2000 in Memphis. And,
Those were at Memphis Championship.
yeah. And down there was guys, I guess that you could say made it. Lance Cade, Spanky, Dragon, Ron Killings, of course Regal. Steve was getting ready to go back up. He lost 40 pounds. He beat the drug addiction. He was in great shape.
That's after the Pillman.
Yeah.
When he came in,
Yeah.
and he
Yeah, he
worked
worked
Benoit,
Benoit.
and that match is what got him. Yeah.
Oh man, he looked great. He looked fantastic. Steve did, and he was real motivated. And he was preaching to the young guys. He preached to the young guys to not make the mistakes he'd made and fall off. I think he do it more to help himself. And of course, he's God here. Right?
Yeah.
Steve is. He really is. But he's a class guy, and I learned a lot watching him how he carried himself. And I thought that was cool. But yeah, I did that. But between ECW and when I got the job as a trainer for WWF in Memphis, I was trainer for XPW. When they were in California, and Kid Chaos and some of those guys would work out in the ring, and he was one you could see. Is he still working?
Chaos?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Hammer. You just did the Wrestle Society X, which is the MTV pilot.
Yeah.
Because you're very much the MTV generation.
Yeah.
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 Yikes.
Fuck you.
Fuck. Oh, you bury me now.
You put Kid Chaos over. What's up with that?
Yeah.
Can you
Well, he's alright. I mean,
Yeah, some good matches. Those XPW matches they had.
Yeah.
That ladder match
Jerry Lynn
in
and
Philadelphia.
all the ladder matches
Those
and shit.
ones.
You didn't like the ladder
I
match?
thought I bumped like a bitch. Not on Chaos's fault, but yeah, man, I thought.
I like working with Shark Boy there. He was a good kid. And who was the guy who did the queer gimmick?
Angel.
Yeah.
Hardcore homo.
God, yeah.
They used to just call him Fag. That was his nickname.
He'd take big bumps on the concrete.
Oh, that bump he took in Pittsburgh the last show,
Yeah.
where
He's an
he
idiot.
shattered his hip.
You were
He's an idiot.
calling that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, my
Dude,
God.
like, we used to get to the SPW shows and he'd show me shit that he's gonna fall off of. He goes, "What do you think about that, Hamrick?" I'm like, "You're gonna die tonight."
Oh,
He goes, "Thanks,
yeah.
Hamrick."
Yeah, why would you do that?
Yeah, what happened to
But
hip block?
I did that, and then I was trainer there, and I think the Mean Street Posse, they were there. Joey Abs was there. And
Anybody from Memphis Championship that you thought this guy's a surefire hit
Austin Idol.
and went nowhere?
Oh.
there's a lot of them.
What are you talking?
There's a lot of them.
Austin Idol
Uh,
for Memphis Championship.
Hey, you guys know who Jason Sensation is?
Yeah, Toronto kid
He's-
did the voices.
He was real good. He can imitate anybody. They had him on developmental, and they were paying him in his home, and then they brought him there, and they didn't want him to commentate. They didn't want him to manage. All he did was ring announced, and I don't know who sent that down because he was great, and it was just wasting him, and you're paying him anyway. And I thought my job was to develop him, but it seemed like they wanted you to just fuck with him. Thought they would be a stooge and things like that, and just stir it with them. And they wake up as like a game. Who could they mess with today? And told me I was too much one of the boys. And I wasn't, my head wasn't right. I was going through divorce and all that. But you saw a lot of guys. Joey Abs should be on Raw right now. Joey Abs is so talented, and he was getting ready to go back up. And he got some cheap shots on him, chair shots. And he didn't know it was coming, things like that. And sure wasn't coming from me. And he messed him up. He got back on pills. Then they let him go. I guess Hunter didn't like him. That's what I was told, and that kind of thing. Because he was getting back, and he was going to go up. Ron Killings, when he went up, he was so hurt. His shoulder was hurt real bad. His groin was ripped, and he had a broken rib. And then on the first pay-per-view he did, well, here's what they didn't take. You should have let him off that week because you don't have a second chance to make a first impression. I thought that the deal was, which you always weren't hurting today, but I thought the deal was that when you groom them to bring them up, right? So when they're opening deal, it has to be. And don't get me wrong, he went with Eddie and Benoit and Malenko. I guess it was a 6-man or something. But when he does that move, that flatliner, he gave and they blew the spot. I mean, it wasn't bad, did, but I know him and I know he was in bad pain. And if they let him off that week, then that wouldn't happen. But they had him chain wrestle and work out. He went Monday and Tuesday to Raw and SmackDown tapings, and then Wednesday he was in the ring, which he shouldn't have been. In Oxford, Mississippi, a town that Terry Golden had screwed all up, and that's who was doing all this. I said, and he was jealous of it because he never made it, and he didn't want to see other guys make it, and that's what's wrong with it all. And the best players should be on the field. Michael Jordan's Michael Jordan because he's Michael Jordan. He's the best, right or wrong?
Michael Jordan.
Right, and he don't like Michael Jordan. But Ron wasn't 100%. He wasn't even 50%. And then they let him go later because they said that he was injury prone. Well, man, he was beat to death. I mean, and then he had to work. He worked Wednesday, and he worked out in the ring Thursday. And we had to chain wrestle and really go hard workout and have a match too, and do all the calisthenics and the bumps and the rolls and everything else. And he shouldn't have been in there. And it was aggravating that every time he'd do something, it's just like they got off on it. And that wasn't. I didn't think that was the deal. And I didn't like that. And because it made me look bad as a trainer, and it makes them look bad, which is more important because you got, when you're like a coach, you want to see them do good. But some in that position don't want to. And some of them are that way because they couldn't physically get in the ring and do it themselves. So if they do that way, they're fucking assholes, but they're in the spot they are. That's why I want to get something going. I want to bust his ass. I hate Vince McMahon. Fuck that son of a bitch.
You don't have to say it. He'll say it
I
himself.
got friends dead in the grave, and I know their wives and their kids, and it makes me sick. And he's a sick man, and he's got problems, and he's messed up. My son saw that when Steve kissed his ass, and that was bad because I was going through a divorce, and all that, and it messed him up. When you take Eddie Guerrero, who's a born-again Christian, God rest his soul, and make him lie, cheat, and steal everything he's against. When you take Trevor Murdoch and you turn him into a queer, and knowing how, whatever their sexual preferences are sexual preferences, as long as it don't affect business, I don't care. It'll make me no difference. But anyway, and make him a queer. Dick Murdoch, if you ever knew him, he'd roll over in his grave, just as an evil son of a bitch, man. So you want to see them always do good $400,000 houses. You just like to be a part of something. Do 401 or give it a hell of a try. Ain't nothing better to do. He buys up everything. He went into territories. He took every top guy. I started in '83 when it happened, and he did that. And he robbed them all, the top guys, and he'd go in their territory, run their towns, and beat them with his guys. And I get on a roll. I should shut up, but he's number one in my book. I'd like to fight that fucking Bradshaw on that pay-per-view, though. Put that on the table. I'll beat his ass. Give him my money for going to the ring so I can get out of there. Then go to hell.
Let's talk about.
He's a punk.
Let's talk about the hardcore homecoming.
Not one, man.
Talk about the hardcore homecoming and the ECW
That
reunion.
guy's a fact.
Those two shows, the first hardcore homecoming show and the ECW, the one night stand pay per view, happened the same weekend.
I couldn't get Chris
And
on it.
he
got
was
so much
not.
heat.
Where were you?
He
Where
got
were
so
you?
much heat.
Where were you for either of them?
Who you got heat with?
I don't know. God.
Who?
I thought Shane, but Carino has heat with Shane, right?
Yeah.
So you're linked with that.
Yeah, I'm guilty by association.
You got a little heat there,
You
dude.
got booked. Tell me
You got a
about
I
it.
honestly don't know.
A little bit of heat.
Dreamer actually told me, this is what he told me, whether he's lying or not, I don't know.
Now this is about the one night stand.
Yeah, he told me
Okay.
that originally they had me and Julio booked against Doran and Roadkill. But he said then it got switched to where they were going to have another match with somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And then we were going to work the Eliminators. And they couldn't find John Cronus, and they thought Perry Saturn had gone like crazy or something. So they left us with nothing. So
And in the end, Doring and Roadkill got
So
on.
we get
They got
to
on the
start
pay per view, introducing a tribute,
honestly,
and it was being shown. It was being shown out of order from what was actually going on.
I'm
Yeah,
not tell you nothing, man.
yeah. Hey, your breast stinks. Have a tic tac.
Yeah.
He's trying to.
breasts not so
Dragon
bad
breath,
people beg you to
man.
fart.
Dragon breath.
Colt Cabana, what?
Oh, God. I went back. I didn't want to sell it. It woke me up. Man.
On the bus on the way here today.
But
Colt Cabana.
honestly, though, the one night stand or whatever, I thought it was complete bullshit.
Yeah.
To me, I mean, it's cool that those guys were in ECW and all that bullshit, but they made their money. You know, Paul was paying these guys. Give to guys like Chetty, C-Dub, and, you know, other guys that didn't get that much publicity or whatever, because they were still part of ECW.
Mm.
Give them a chance to get on pay-per-view, get a little exposure, and make a little bit more money on the indies. Take care of the guys that stayed legit.
Yeah, but
Vince
hold
could give a
on.
fuck less about that.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You're saying do something good. Do something good for the workers. You gotta be crazy, man.
Yeah, well, if Paul would have had total control of it, it would have been different. But yeah, Vince just found a way to push guys that he has now that were in ECW once and still
Yeah.
get. So basically, it's just another fucking WWE pay-per-view with ECW banner. You know, that's my feeling on it.
Hey,
Fuck
What about the hardcore homecoming show? The first hardcore homecoming show was two nights before. That was the Friday night at Viking Hall, ECW Arena, the new Alhambra, whatever the fuck they want to call it, the Bingo Hall. Every week it's got a new name. We tried to call it XPW Arena. Hey, shit on that idea.
Gee, I wonder why.
that show,
That shocked me.
that show was a cool show, and I really did. I had fun both of them. The hardcore homecoming show, boy, the crowd was just electric. They were really into it, just like it used to be, and it was awesome. It was great seeing a lot of the guys. It was so hot in that building. Oh my God! Scorp's here on this tour, right?
Yeah, Scorp's gonna be
Scorp
here.
looked great. He was ripped to shreds. He worked with Kid
Best
Cass.
he's looked in a long time,
man,
yeah.
He lives in Germany now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I saw him and seen him in a while, and of course Chris and Shane and everybody, and it was a good time. We was there like 3 in the morning, and then I worked for IWA away for Ian the next day, and they had a great show. They really did. Those young guys, they had a good house for me, for there, and it was the afternoon show. Then I called right up with JT Smith to there, and then all day, it was everybody was cool to me at the one night stand, but it was. You were as comfortable as you were at the arena because that was more ECW, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because their office, of course, they own the name, but you felt like that some of the guys there didn't want to be there. And
Some guys shouldn't have been there.
I meant some of the guys Vince's guys, and I thought they were going to do something with it because Vince had spoke that they were, but he looked pretty unsure. I think Johnny Ace wanted to, but I think maybe some of the top guys didn't like
Do something with it as far as like
Start
making
running some shows.
make
That's what they
start
said.
They're
running
doing
it.
another one, right?
Yeah.
They're running another one this year. Yeah.
And I want to
Maybe I
fight
won't be on that one
Bradshaw,
either.
man. I'm gonna stomp him. Bring some donuts, Bradshaw.
Well, let's talk about the. We are gonna lose an hour of tape. Watch this. What happened with you and Bradshaw?
Maybe 2 hours.
You take it? You want a pillow?
I was going to a show, and I heard his radio show, right? And I known him since he started. I knew John and Hulk. I didn't know JBL. You know what I mean? When I say that, so that's how I treat with guys, and like Undertaker. I knew Master of Pain, Mean Mark. I didn't know Undertaker, but I think Brother's really dead. Oh God, that's another story. But anyway, John, I knew him in Japan when he first started. And he worked at Global. And he was a real nice guy. He was real humble. And anyway, I listened to that radio show, and when I got there that day, I saw him, and I went up and talked to him, and he wouldn't even look at me. He talked to me, you know what I mean? But he was just talking, like above me. I was looking up. It's kind of like that. And I was asking about the show, and I was just shooting, I'm just hanging out. I'm 43 years old, man. I was glad to be there. I was going to be on pay-per-view. I didn't think I would again. I got out and didn't think I'd get back in the ring again, So my attitude wasn't like a lot of guys. If they that Smothers, you didn't know if it's going to be a work or a shoot. And if it's a shoot, that's okay. If I get my ass whooped, I get my ass whooped. I ain't stand there and let them big jacked up androids beat me up, man. It ain't happening. Because if we had to do that, then I was going to get cab. I was going to the house. You know what I mean? I really was, because it didn't matter. But I was glad to be there. So I didn't want any trouble. You didn't want no trouble. And Meanie, nothing happened with him and Bradshaw all day. And that's the thing. If Bradshaw had a beef with him, then he should have confronted him there.
When he walked in the
talk
building.
about it. Yeah. And like those Texas guys, they're crazy, man. We got Murdoch, Stan Hansen, Brody, Barry them Windows, Blackjack, and them guys. You knew right what you stood with them. The Funks, if they were mad at you, they didn't hit you in the back of the head. They come right after you. They didn't have to be in the ring. You know what I mean? They come right up on you. They're just crazy. But Bradshaw did it like a bitch, I thought. All I saw was in the corner, and that big Matt Morgan, he's a big guy, man. And he grabbed me around my waist right there, and he about broke me in half. I don't know, man. I looked over, and I saw Meanie getting nailed. And I just saw like a flash. There's so many guys in there. And they just went, what the fuck? Like that, you're thinking.
Yeah, and Meanie had staples. 2 nights before at the Hardcore Homecoming in Philadelphia, he got busted open with a kendo stick, and he had staples in his head.
Yeah.
And that's Bradshaw ripped it open again.
Knew it was there, and did a cheap shot at him when and Meanie didn't want to fight him. Al was kind of in front, you could see that, and Al was just trying to calm John down, like that. And Johnny was just standing there like that, and then just, monkey knows what tree to climb. That's what we say back home. And Meanie didn't want to fight him. Meanie is harmless as a butter knife. He don't bother nobody. You got to be for him. Talk to him about it, dude. And something on the internet, it gets all blown out of proportion and all that.
What do you think about Blue Meanie?
Fuck Blue Meanie.
Okay.
Well, I'm just saying what happened. And then that Tomko kid, I tied up with him, and he took a couple swings at me, and I just ducked in and went him down and went there, and I bowled him back. I kind of did that, and I said, "You all right?" He goes, "Yes, okay." So I said, "Steve Regal," and I says, "I'll go over to Steve," and he was, just going right there, and I went over to him. And I said, "Steve, come with me, you're safe." He goes, "Oh, Jesus Christ, man," like that. And then he had a spot there, I guess, with Sandman. He spun off of me, and had a spot when he got popped with the cane. He was out, right there. So that was all cool, because there was a lot of guys in there. There was a lot of tension, and there was a lot of, you could feel the tension, and it was weird. And you didn't want to get in any trouble. You didn't want to get nailed. You didn't want to get staying low. You didn't want anything. You didn't want to get embarrassed.
Where does the tension come from, you think? Is it because they're, Chris is calling it WWE pay-per-view with an ECW banner. Is it WWE guys afraid that ECW might prove to be a more popular product, might prove to be something?
ECW had the best wrestling around, period.
It just blew it off. The people were just, I was watching where you could watch the monitor, and I was watching where you could see the people. And the reaction of it, it was just the passion people had. They were out of their mind. And you know that's money, and Vince knows that's money. They're chanting ECW in all these arenas. But the boys, the top guys, of course, they don't want to lose their spot. And, you watch that Tanaka and Mike Awesome, regardless if you don't like what they did or not, my God. There's things they did in there that they couldn't top. And he's up there saying, and they're up there laughing at him. And that's what I didn't like at all. And I didn't like that one fucking bit, and I still don't. And because that's not cool. Because regardless if you don't like what they do or whatever it is they do, it's our business. Have respect for it. These are making fun. They're talking shit, and then they put a pay thing out. I guess where John commentated on things, he's just making fun of everybody. But fuck that son of a bitch, because he that's not cool at all. And he has no respect for our business or the people in it. And most of them ain't never paid no dues. And if it wasn't for the damn jacked up Android, they'd be fucking doing hair or something. So I don't give a fuck. Never watched wrestling. Never paid no dues. Never none of that. And I can remember when they was doing that little rehearsal they all walked down and do, and the attitude, and just did. And I don't care. It don't matter what they're gonna do. Fire me. They fired me twice. Fuck them. But they just did. And I was standing in the back. C.W. Anderson and Chris Chase standing right there, and it's just the way they was just handling themselves. And I was just like, man, fuck these son of a bitches. I went up to the front. They did. I said, okay, guys, what's happening? Because I knew most of them. I knew a lot of them's dads. Russell worked with a lot of his dads, really did, and they're going to act like that to me, and they kind of was distant from you all day, and just a little tension, and you knew the agents, and some of them, I don't care, I know every one of them agents, I know every fucking one of them, man, and they stir them up, and they start shit, and they play the boys, and they stir up the boys on each other, and it's all big work, big angle, they get off on it to fuck with people, so you kind of saw that, and I'm just telling them like it is, and that's what you felt. I thought, man, they ain't standing there let these motherfuckers kick me out, because they really going to come out, you didn't know, so Danny Doran says to me, he says, he goes, is this going to be a shoot tonight? And I said, I don't know, be ready for anything. Just be careful. Watch your back. Like that. Watch each other. So those guys that stick together, the ECW guys, if one fault, they all fight. Regardless of, like I said, my New Jack and Pitbull Anthony, we ain't that way with them guys. They're all out for themselves. And I remember Bradshaw standing over there, and he was talking shit, and he was drunk at 3 o'clock, which never happened before, right? Never happened before, so that tells you the inmates who run the asylum and things like that. And, he was drunk, and he was telling all them big kids, Tom Cole, Morgan, what's his name? Tom Cole, Morgan, Snisky, and Conway, Sylvan, is that his name?
Sylvan Grenier, yeah.
Orlando, all them guys are kind of standing around or something like that. And they're nice guys, and they're just doing what they're told. And they don't want, they don't know more than anybody, but they got to go with what he says.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he goes, guys, don't hesitate to knock one of these jack-off motherfuckers the fuck out. It's like, that's what he said. I mean, he said that, and he's standing maybe from here, maybe a little further than you guys right there, and you're just sitting there and you're just going, dude, why are you acting that way? You know what I mean? Like, come on, man. You're on top, you're doing great, you wrote a damn book, you're stock market, you're doing, what do you worry about us for? We're just over here trying to get a job and make a living. Because you don't want to get in any trouble, because you were hoping they would do something with it, because they talk like they were going to do like they used to, but then it's back, and it's marketable and do, so it provides 30 to 50 jobs for the boys. They're developmentals from OVW and Deep South, and all can come up through there and work with the established ECW, to create new characters. That's what Paul kind of did before. Yeah. And I know I get on a roll saying, but it's true. It's true.
Yeah, but what do they do? What do they do if they recreate ECW and the ECW brand is more popular than the WWE brand?
It did a real good.
Yeah, but that's my point. What kind of assholes do they look like then? Look, they bought WCW and they sank that. They drilled holes in the hull of that ship and sank it like the Titanic. They could have carried that angle on for a year or a year and a half and done something good with it. But what they did is they brought in the WCW guys and jobbed them out every opportunity. So you're now your heels. Your WCW is your heels in this angle, and they're being proven again and again and again to be completely dickless. Be completely inept. Yeah. So how do they carry on being a viable challenger?
He's already a billionaire. He's just a bored rich guy that wants to get off on just fucking with people and doing things that he does. He gets off on it, man.
Yeah, but he
gets off on
it. But he protects that brand.
Dick Murdoch
like it fucking means something.
Dick Murdoch would turn over in his grave, and I've known him since '83. If he knew what they was doing that with Trevor. Yeah. And it's just if you knew these people and you know the why behind the what. Then it really gets to you. Then you think, well, heck, man, I'm sitting there cursing, I'm making mistakes, dude, but I ask to be forgiven. But when brother here don't put over God, he got some problems. So, what goes up must come down. He's already groped a tanning bed lady, right? He's bought his way out of it, right or wrong. I know this. You could dig up a lot on a lot of people in doing the bounty hunting thing. And you think about that, and when it comes legal, then it's a different story. And I've got, I'm working on some things you want to do, but you got to get rid of the garbage, and you got to get rid of it. And they said, Shane and them 40 pages of things not to do in that hardcore homecoming. And why in the hell are you worried about what they're doing? You're a $1 billion business, and on the stock market and everything, and doing DVDs and books on everybody,
Yeah.
and why you were, do something. He cost about 300-400 jobs in our business. That'd be like Verizon coming in, buying Singer and firing everybody. It was your job. That's what they knew. That was their passion. If it was working at, making cell phones or whatever it is, that's what it boiled down to.
Taking over a territory
yeah.
and putting that area's workers out of business.
Yeah, and that's not the deal, and that's what's happened. And now they want guys that never even watch the business, and they don't why they frown on indie guys. What are they supposed to do to get experience? What are they supposed to do? There's no territories anymore,
Yeah.
and then indie promoters don't want them to work with nobody but them. The boys just want to work, and he just sits back and laughs. Everybody cuts somebody's throat. If a guy could get all the small territories going like it used to be, and there's strength in numbers, and you film a 2-hour show, and you go against him, and you show it from different venues, and you show about 8 matches of wrestling, maybe a 15, 30-second interview before they go to the ring. That's all, or maybe after. You know what I mean? Or a minute after. And if personal issues, and they do. Not when they're having sex in the bed, not when they're doing, kissing his ass. That's just disgusting, man. I mean, it is. And you know what? But anyway, back to what I was saying. I know I get off on different subjects, but all that day you're sitting there and you're seeing all that and you're just doing. But I saw Vince was unsure. And he wanted to do that ECW thing. It was Van Dam's idea. That whole interview was a shoot Van Dam did, and Paul Lee's was too. And they knew it'd go, but Van Dam was hurt, and so he couldn't. It was his idea.
Yeah.
So now he's not. So they could very well still do that.
But will they?
I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say because someone told me, and I don't want to say. He said they were going to do something, but not now. And they could, because it did like 80,000 more buys. Am I right? Vince sees that.
Their best-selling, their 2 best-selling DVDs are yeah.
Well, right. And that. Well, anyway, John, I can remember coming off that with back to what I was saying. He hit Steve. Steve got out, and I went over here and saw John and Balls and Axel kind of there. And I went over and he hit me. I could like clubbed me in the back of the neck right there. I said, "Motherfucker!" And I come up and just popped him there. And I got him good in the eye. I didn't hurt him. I popped him. I popped his ass. I thought, oh shit. So it's just reaction. Something happened. You know how it is in the ring. So I went back over here and did. And then Sandman come walking across right there, and he come up behind him and got him, and had him around the neck. And he saw that. I just come in, bam, 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 bam. I hit him about 5-6 times. I didn't get him real good shots. I was just real quick. I just wanted to hit that. He was and jockeying around. I don't think I really hurt him. And but then everybody got on him. Everybody got on him. I went off of him and did, and I said, "Get on him! Don't make him look weak." And everybody just jumped his ass, was cussing him. And that's what you like because they stick together. You fight one, you got to fight them all. When the dressing room after, in the dressing room after, Meanie and him were arguing, and I kind of left it alone because I left it in the ring because that's the way I was always taught. A lot of times you come back and it's cool. It was settled in the ring. It's like you would on the field, and in any sport, and kind of like that. And they were fussing, and Orlando was holding John back, and the agents were all between them all. And Johnny Ace was saying, "This doesn't happen here." And Meanie was going, "It's a work. It's a fucking work." And then John started to come after him because he's yelling, "Don't get cocky." And then so we went on, and because Meanie spun me around, he goes, "Bradshaw shot on me," and juiced. They're doing that thing with Austin and Bischoff, right? And it was just, God, what, like that. I knew what had happened with me, and I was just laying low because I didn't want to get in trouble. I really didn't because I wanted to get a job because I always fuck up and get fired. I've been fired from everywhere at least once, at least. You know what I mean? And I said, "Oh, no trouble." And I thought, man, so I didn't want to do nothing.
We'll see what happens to you here the rest of the weekend.
Then
we'll just blame it on Hamrick.
Then I got home, and like 4 o'clock, something like that, it came out on the internet as to what happened when I jumped in and punched him. And people started talking about it. I started getting phone calls and emails, and I didn't want to say nothing. And then on the Thursday, I worked a little show, and a guy come up and told me, he said, "I sucker punched him." I thought, well, what the fuck did he do? What did he do to Meanie? Like that. So they had me do a little interview there, and I said something about it. Next day, I was on the show, my webmaster calls me, and she says that Dave Shearer emailed and says, what you said last night, was that a shoot? I said, "What? I ain't, I'm just tired, wore out. I'm just going, just trying to get there." I was really tired then. That week of those shows, I worked Tuesday, Wednesday, a double shot Thursday, and did Shane's show Friday, and Ian's show the next day with not much sleep, and then did that one there, and I was exhausted. And it was a Friday, and I said, "Yeah." I said, "You talking about?" She said, "With Bradshaw." I said, "Yeah, it was a shoot. Fuck him, man." Everybody looks like him. Well, she emailed him back that. And then that came out there. And then the next day, these kids out of Kingsport, the interview that was on all over the internet, they had me do an interview about it. They said, just do shooting interview. I just wore out. I said, about what? And they said about Bradshaw. I said, yeah, fuck him. So right there, so I did it right there. The next thing I know, it was all over the internet.
That's the clip where you offered to give your house and your dog.
Yes. I still feel that way, man, because they're sitting up there laughing at us, and that ain't cool, man. Regardless if you don't like it or whatever you want to say, and you're up there talking shit, and you ain't never paid no dues, and none of them guys have. And if they don't like what I'm saying, they can come too. They can go to hell is what they can do, because I put 23 years in this business, and if you don't have any respect for it, you ain't worth a fuck, man. You ain't worth. I don't care how much money you made or what you've done or whatever it is. You're going to get yours. What goes up must come down. I'll say that because I've seen it happen too much. Anything can happen in this world. But we're up there making fun and calling guys garbage, and the guys you worked out in the ring with, and you knew their hearts, and you knew where their heads were at, and you knew how much they loved the business, and were very good at it, and it got shut down. It wasn't their fault. Yeah. And then there's no work now. We got jobs, and they're making fun of that because you do have jobs to support your wrestling habit, and things like that. A lot of guys do. That ain't cool. So yeah, I'd like to fight him. I don't think they'll let me. I ain't saying I can whip him. I probably can't. I don't know. I ain't been training like I should have been eating right and do. But he's got a bad knee. I'll take it out. I'll fuck him up, man. I'll do what I can.
What did you?
I would love to fight him. I'd love to fight him on that thing. I'd love to fight him.
What did you think of Meanie going to New York to do those SmackDowns for a few weeks there?
He's just trying to get a job. He worked for him before. They liked him. He's just trying to get a job. He could have sued him, I guess, but that's what caught me was when I first started. You wouldn't think about suing somebody what happened in the ring. Because if the marks hit the ring, you better beat them up. Because if they got the best of you, you're done. You lost a bar fight, you were finished.
Yeah.
These guys, some of them, they should have worked for the old promoters like Eddie Graham, Mike Graham, Bill Watts, Ole Anderson, and Vern Gagne, and some of them guys, the Von Erichs, And,
don't come home unless you win.
Yeah, I mean, you're done. You're history. Even the Jarretts, you defended the business, always did. And you didn't make fun of it because regardless of you didn't like each other or not, you had respect for our business, and doing that I didn't think was. And so yeah, I said that, and then I started getting flack coming, but it helped me, and did, and still does, and I'd still like to do it because it did help me a lot. It helped me.
Yeah, well,
I got booked here because
the first match here was you and Meanie over, and the angle was that you were pissed at Meanie for defending him, and then he went to New York.
Yeah. Well, that was
New York.
But yeah, New York, the whole city, or just the office?
Everything New York related.
You just worked for him, didn't you?
Yeah.
You done?
No, it ain't that. I mean, the thing about it is when you see guys that you've helped and done, and they've had to deal with stuff you dealt with when you was their age, and it bothers you. It does because you do care. Because you know that you have to hope that you had a lot with helping them learn how to do what they do as good as they do, but they helped you because they brought your game because you knew they had it. And then when you see that, like what they did to Joey Abs, and I was already let go when they started really, messing with him hard because they said he was going up. And now I hear that he's not doing real well. And it's because of the head trip of what they did. And that's why when the jobs started going down, guys were used to doing what they'd done, wrestling business since they were in their teens. Their dads did. Now a lot of them's dads have outlived them. Think about that. That's pretty rough, isn't it? Kurt Hennig, God bless him, man. You never thought he could always hold his cookies. But he was too drunk, and I heard that a certain guy stirred it up to shoot with Brock, and they fired him. And he's 45 years old. He never amateur wrestled. Brock's straight, don't drink or nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they embarrassed him, and then they fired him. So that was you know what I mean?
Yeah.
People don't know that. And I couldn't believe it. I was out of business when I heard that. That's when I knew it was bad. Hawk, his past use, but he got his life together. And with the head trips that they can put on you and do, they just chew you up and spit you out. And used to when you got let go, you always had a place to go. It's not that way anymore. And guys may party a little bit. Then one thing leads to another. They're going to sit around and think too much.
Well, it's starting to come back that there's a place to go for some people, and watch Hamrick's eyes light up. There's TNA.
Fuck TNA.
And Hamrick, who's your favorite wrestler of all time in TNA?
Nobody.
No, you didn't like Crimson Dragon?
No, he sucked.
Yeah?
Fuck Crimson Dragon. No, here's what's wrong with the business today, alright?
This is heat.
If you go to a WWE event, okay, and say you've got two big muscled up steroid motherfuckers coming to the ring, yeah, they look impressive, okay? They look impressive once you get in the ring. Okay, say I'm there, and I get in the ring, and there's a lot of people like, but I guarantee you, let them have a match, let me have a match, and then see who walks out being more impressed. You know? Because these motherfuckers, they can't spell work, much less do it. And it just pisses me off because you got so many guys on the indies busting their ass every night and that love the business. And that's the thing about ECW. These guys were out there and you could tell they had a passion for the business.
Yeah.
They loved what they were doing. Half the time they were getting paid, half the time they wasn't. And they didn't care. They didn't really care if they was getting paid. I mean, sure they wanted their money, but if Paul came in and goes, okay, you know, we'll get checks next week, nobody went out there and gave a 50% performance. They gave their fucking 110%. And, you know, and with WWE, I mean, you watch it on Monday nights if you can stand to watch it, and you can tell these motherfuckers are just trying to get a paycheck. You know, they save it for the pay-per-view, and then the pay-per-view's not all that, you know? So, I mean, like, these indie guys, fuck, every night's a pay-per-view for them. So, you know, it's just, it sucks that, you know, more people can't get breaks because
6-8 hours.
Because they're not fucking, you know, enhanced with fucking steroids or, you know.
Well, it's just, they've been announcing. Oh no,
You're sugarcoating way too much.
I'm trying to babyface now.
What about TNA?
Fuck.
Not me, man.
Oh, you on the job?
Oh, I ain't.
Would you take a job?
Would you take none of me? I never worked for them.
Would you take a job with TNA?
If TNA calls,
Sure, I would.
Yeah.
I got like a booking. They work 3 times
Well,
a month.
meanie.
Right? Yeah, they
Hamrick,
A lot of them there, I helped when
what
they
if
started.
TNA called
I
you?
hang up on them.
Yeah. Well, that call ain't
You know what?
that call ain't never gonna come.
It's really like, no, he's not with TNA.
Oh Jesus.
Fuck him. You know. I mean, fuck him.
He may not like
What's he
you.
ever done in the business anyway? What the
He may
fuck?
not like you.
I hope he don't, son of a bitch.
How long have you?
What the fuck has he ever done in the business to make him sit at TNA office and tell who they can hire and who they can't hire? Fuck him!
Does he have
Piece
that
of
power?
shit.
Does he have that power?
I
Or just put heat on you?
Oh, fuck him.
He may not like you.
I hope he don't.
What about that email that
Beep.
Can we go there? The email you talking about today?
No, we'll get to it. We'll get to it.
But anyway,
We'll come back to
God.
I don't want to be here anymore.
Hey, that's what draws though. They just want to hear you bury him. Who else?
And I will. And I
You bury
will.
Bobby Eaton. Nicest guy.
Fuck Bobby Eaton.
See, that's bad.
No, Bobby Eaton's one of the nicest guys around.
What about
It's so uncomfortable in here.
let's see. Who else? Who do you want to bury? Bury ice
Who
cream.
you want to bury?
Can you bury ice cream?
I'm one of the easiest going guys in the business.
Yeah.
So I don't understand where all this
What happened
heat
to
comes
pillow
from.
fight?
You know.
Pillow fight.
Oh, we'll come to that.
Infamous.
We'll come to that. We're building up. We're going.
We're building up to
We're
it.
telling a story.
We're building up to
Gotta
it.
go
We're
with
telling
that.
the story. That's the main event right
Okay.
there. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
I wasn't in on that either. I'm a heat-free frost.
We're
They
still
were going on a rampage, man. They
We're
were
still in the
around, they
heat
were
section right
stalking.
now.
All right. Okay. So we got
Winter
through. We got through the first. Oh God.
What's heat?
Oh, burying myself just sitting next to you. Oh man. I'm sorry. Yeah. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. Medicate myself with some sugar
You're
here.
killing me, man.
Oh, killing. He's
He's
killing
got
us
more
all.
heat, more heat than the sun. He's got more heat than a volcano. I'm not kidding.
So we get through the first. We got the first one PW show, and you fight Meanie, and then later on in that show, Carino versus Al Snow. You come out,
Fuck out.
help Mr. Fuck Al Snow. You come out and you help Carino. Meanie comes out to make the save, and we get the start of something. And then looks like you might need a tag partner, and call on Mr. Hamrick here. And then January we have Southern Comfort, and we have Carino. We have the formation of Old School X.
Yeah.
That's it. No comments.
Reno's not here this
No,
time.
I'm telling the story.
No.
No, not this time.
Damn it.
Is he in Japan?
No.
Yeah, he's in Japan.
No shenanigans.
Yeah, well, that was fun. That was
Oh,
fun.
what was that about shenanigans?
I like the people. They're starved for it here. They love it. They
Mm.
love it. They just have a blast because they don't. You know, people in the States take it for granted because there's a lot of shows running.
Yeah.
And you wish that you could come over here like 2 weeks or a month at a time.
Yeah.
You know, because it's a good time. In all of Europe, they're starving for it. Because I mean, Vince does great overseas, right?
Mhm.
But do y'all have TV here? I don't know. Do they have a
1PW?
TV show?
Not yet. No, we got our first. The first TV special is going to air on the Wrestling Channel the night of WrestleMania.
How long? 30 minutes, an hour? Or?
No, 4 hours.
Oh, of 1PW?
Yes, they call it the Super. TWC calls it the Super Sunday card or the Super Card Sunday,
So different
and they air 3 or 4 hours of one promotion or one topic, right? And WrestleMania Sunday, because of the time difference, WrestleMania is going to start here at midnight, okay? And 1PW is going to be on the Wrestling Channel from 8 until midnight.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
That's
so we're going to get to see all kinds of recaps.
That's
10 minutes of this will be in there.
It's April.
Fuck WrestleMania.
That's April.
Well, that's cool to hear.
What's the matter with you?
You hear that
April
Ted Turner,
2nd.
you guys heard Ted Turner? You hear he's talking about opening back up?
Yeah,
Is that true?
they've been saying that for how
Well,
long?
isn't his no compete thing up?
Yeah,
this year?
it's all, yeah, okay.
So you hope that'll happen because it provides more jobs. That's
Yeah.
what I mean. You know what I mean? For everybody.
In the back.
You hope 1PW gets going like a territory. You know, where they're doing regular 2-week tours or something.
Yeah.
Because you got the towns here.
Well, right now there's, you've got McMahon, you've got TNA, say it.
Fuck TNA.
Okay, you've got the possibility of this Wrestle Society X on
Yeah.
MTV.
Is that what you did?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
you got Ring of Honor is running. You know,
Yeah.
there's
You'd like to see it,
we're
yeah.
we're getting back to alternatives. We're getting
Always.
back to like a few guys. It's still just a small handful, but a few guys might actually be able to make their livings at this.
You work 5 to 7 days a week for the same promoter, and you didn't have to work for nobody else because you got enough work. And
No,
when
you
the run
got-
was up,
yeah.
they'd swap you over here, and they bring you underneath the middle guys. Some guys will stay longer. You may hang out. We may hang out a year or so. He may get a spot somewhere. I may stay there. Him stay there, and I might see him for 5 years. Then could be in Japan. And, there used to be a lot more guys go to Japan. Baba's side used to take about 16, Inoki's did. FMW took about over a dozen. IWA did. There's a lot of shoot groups, that Michinoka Pro, and a lot of them.
01.
01, yeah, a lot of them, and it's not like it now.
Well-
There's always was a lot of more overseas trips. Of course, that's for 911 too, and that really hurt it. But it was going down when Vince bought Atlanta, then ECW shut down. Boy, then 911, that's when you saw a big difference. That's
Well,
not just
says
wrestling,
a-
the whole world.
Says a lot for you two as a team that at this stage, in this climate, that you guys spend so much time together as a team.
Because nobody does any tag team stuff anymore. There's no true heels.
People who are smart, dude.
Yeah, but there's no true heels. I mean, you ain't gotta be smart just set babyface or heel.
Can we do a 4-way dance off tonight? Can we do it? All 4 teams. Can we do
Are
it?
you gonna have the white boy dance party?
Gotta do it, man. Gotta do it.
Everybody
Okay,
loves the
okay, it's all
white
God.
boy dance
No,
party.
I mean, seriously, today in wrestling, nobody wants to be disliked. Everybody wants to do something and get the pop from the crowd.
I love you.
And you can't. You got to be heels. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Because you got to have somebody to cheer against,
What
and
about
somebody
TNA?
to cheer for. Fuck TNA. And nobody does it, but me and Tracy are old school Southern heels. And
Okay.
Okay, let's go back. Let's go back to the January 1PW shows, and it's Southern Comfort. Christ, Southern Comfort against Job Squad. Al Snow, Blue Meanie,
Yeah.
and second night there's a stipulation to the match, wasn't there, Chris?
Yeah, Tracy wore a dress.
Yeah, what'd you wear? A frock, an
Don't
evening
remember.
gown.
I don't remember.
You look delightful in your dresses.
Thank you.
I like the fact
That
that
was fun, though.
an hour later you came out to help Carino and you're still wearing the dresses.
Yeah.
You finally managed to get your left arm through the hole.
Yeah, I dare many learn.
But
to dress
one
on something.
PW crowd's real responsive, and boy, they're hungry for it. You could tell that they wish they could have more of it. you
Yeah.
know. And so you hope that it'll grow. Looks like it will. That what you said, a 4-hour special before
Yeah.
WrestleMania.
That's
That's
gonna be
big,
good, man.
Oh, that's big. More people. God, the whole because everybody watches at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And if you got fonts on there on WWE TV saying that's going to be on.
I think so.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Is that right? Is that right? Yeah, that's the way to do it then. So that's a big leap right there. And you always see the business come in cycles, and I kind of see that because a lot of people are trying to get things going. I've been trying. I've always been so close. In Branson, Missouri, a couple years ago, I had it set up. It's a vacation area, and like they do the shows there, the old country music shows, magic shows and all that. And there's gonna
Las
be
Vegas
shows.
Las Vegas for the Lawrence Welk set.
Yeah, 3 o'clock and 8 o'clock, and I had it set up where it said if you brought your wife, and worked on it a long time. Say if you went on vacation with your wife, in your vacation package, you may go see Mel Tillis over here at 3 o'clock. You may go to wrestling at 8. Next day you may go to wrestling at 3, or you may not go to wrestling that day. Maybe every other day, or then you go see Glenn Campbell, the old acts, and maybe over here Magic Act. They bust in the older people and do. And the boys had a good setup where it's about come to about $18, about $20 with tax a day for them to stay in a hotel, and they could heal a room, $10 a day. You know what I mean? Sell their gimmicks, work twice a day, not have to travel, and switch up. They have an 8-month season and switch up the crew every 2 months. And ran 2 shows, and a guy that was around the bit, you know Brian Love, you ever know him? He's tried Tommy Rich around some. Tommy. But anyway, he scammed a lady,
Tommy
him
Rich.
and another guy that wasn't a wrestling guy, scammed a lady for $40,000 in 2 shows to shut it right down.
Damn.
But it was set up like that. Say if you typed in Branson, Missouri, within the first 5 topics would have been wrestling. You know,
Yeah.
vacation activities.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know,
Yeah.
and that'd have been
Enough
good for the
to be a
boys.
Google.
That'd be, like I said, they go 8 months straight of the season, about April to about Christmas. And they switched a lot of the acts, like they had some acts in there that would imitate like Elvis impersonators and stuff like that. And they switch the acts up about every 2 months. Shania Twain, you know what I mean? Different things like that. So you want to do that with the wrestling and do, because a lot of people there, when 911 happened, Branson's in the middle of the country. A lot of people there drove to Branson, so that helped their economy, and it helped there. They had 8 million people come through there because people didn't want to fly anymore, you know.
So
it
people
was a
going
time
other
to do it.
places
Yeah.
would make the
Yeah.
would go through Branson. They'd know Branson was there.
Yeah.
Well, we'll stop. We'll,
Yeah.
we'll add a couple extra days. Go to Branson.
And another lady had a good concept. The lady I worked for out of Rockford, and I worked for them as security, and for them, her and her husband, and she had a good concept with wrestling too, that somebody could do it. And if anybody's out there listening, you can do it, because you have a complex that have, say, you have training over here. I mean, where they're training guys, you know, and to do. But I mean, it's hard training, and you let the people come in and watch, because they're smart now and there, but they appreciate more what we do. If they see the training they do, the squats, the push-ups, everything that you do, just like if you watched a practice, a football practice or something like that, and do that. And then have a show over here, and then maybe have a beauty salon here, tanning bed here, cleaners here, you know what I mean? A restaurant here for family, then over here a sports bar, and different kind of thing like that, and franchise it out. And then the guys ain't got to travel, and do the same thing there, that kind of thing. So, and then even at what's that place called? Silver Dollar City. Wanted to talk with them and never got to, about possibly having like an act in the park. You know what I mean? Like in that park there, kind of a couple matches here and there during different times, maybe 2 matches. You ain't got to have a lot.
I tried to do
Guys
I tried to do that in Toronto at one point. Yeah.
You wish you could do it. Then you have the guys in schools doing the drug talks at schools and the things with. I've done Special Olympics. They don't see that no more. Things to help people and the mentally handicapped children and adults alike, and you know, at restaurants, signing autographs, at Walmarts, you know, things, personal appearances, and get them all over that area there who wanted to do that, and didn't get to do it. Oh man, I got some threats on my phone, and I had to get out of there. I had a home
Threats
there.
from who?
I had a home there. It was really nasty. A lot of people in the timeshare business, if you know anything about it, you know, but it could be done.
I was afraid he was going to bury the Special Olympics there for a second.
No.
No, you're not going that
I
far.
wouldn't even go there.
So we've reached your limit.
Yeah.
Oh, thank God.
But you
What do you think about Ricky Steamboat?
Oh, that's Steamboat.
All right, good. All
Just
right,
saw it the other
we're finding his level.
just saw it the
yeah,
other day.
you're doing the
Did a training seminar with
The-
him and Terry Taylor and Tom Pritchard and Les Thatcher.
Yeah.
And Ricky was there one day, and Ricky was great because he was teaching them how to sell a punch and facial expressions, how to have fire and little things that he was showing them. You know, it was really good. I got a lot out of it watching him. That's got to be handed down from torch, you know what I mean, and done, and the little things.
Have either of you thought about setting up a school, like one place? Lance Storm now. He retired. He's gonna come back and do a little bit of work here and there. Lance has gone back to Calgary and he's opened the Storm Wrestling Academy. Have either of you thought about setting up shop one place? You know, the Tracy Smothers Wrestling Academy, the Chris Hamrick School of Wrestling and Etiquette.
I've got some people that I'll be talking with when I leave here, that I have a little concept of kind of what I was saying.
Yeah.
About with all the
With
different
pieces.
things in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they want to have like a big sports bar. It's the main restaurant and sports bar is the main deal of it. But
Right.
have possibly, that in there, and even have a room over here for that. But it's nothing that's doing.
Yeah, because it's the kind of thing. I like the
Try to.
concept. It's the kind of thing you have live entertainment going on,
Yeah.
and you
yeah.
can't have a. You couldn't do that with like a
karaoke
hockey
bar
game
and
or
stuff like that. You can really people cover the ring.
Can we find a
I'm
karaoke
sorry,
bar
but,
too?
but have that because people love that karaoke and sing. They'll go and let them drink a beer and get in the ring and let them have parties and stuff in there and do because people just but make sure it doesn't mess it up and things like that. But I want to hear the pillow fight.
It's coming.
We're gonna get to the pillow fight. We're gonna get to the pillow fight.
We're almost done here.
We're almost done the first half.
Ah.
We're almost done the first half. But what about has there ever
Still
been?
got another half.
Yeah.
God.
Has there ever been an idea of the Chris Hamrick Charm School?
I had a guy one time rented the armory for like the whole month. He just kept his ring up or whatever. So I did a school up there. The problem is students don't want to pay, and fucking there's a couple times I went up there and fucking nobody showed up, and I'm like, I know what I'm doing. I ain't got to come out of my house and teach you motherfuckers what I know. So if you don't have the respect to show up,
Well, I got BMS.
Huh?
Well, I got BMS.
Fuck them. Fuck you.
Fuck TNA.
Fuck TNA. But I mean, it's just everybody wants to do it, but nobody wants to pay the dues anymore. It's just that's stupid.
Hey, I was 2 years nearly trying to get in the business.
Yeah.
It was hard. It was
When I
real
was
hard.
coming in, you were lucky if
It
you was
really
in the business a year. You got to be in the battle royal,
Yeah.
and then
You're
you
right.
got thrown
That's
out.
true.
But your ass was there to help set the ring up, take it down, and you
Oh,
paid
God,
dues.
yeah. You got it.
You earned the right to be a
You come in,
wrestler,
you shake
not
everybody's
like
hand.
everything now.
So you bitter,
I hate wrestling.
do you?
Part 2 of Hamrick Buries the World. Okay. Chris Hamrick, you hate everyone on earth.
You know what? I don't
Bitter.
hate anybody.
But
And
And
my heat with him is, this is what I do for a living. And for me to play a small rib, which didn't hurt any fucking body, Jarrett thought it was cool. And for him to send an email to the promoter over here trying to get me knocked off the show, trying to take money out of my pocket.
okay.
This is how I feed my family,
Okay.
know?
Well,
Fuck him.
let's go from the
which
beginning.
animal? Which animal?
Let's go from the beginning. Let's talk about what happened, because there's been a lot of talk on the internet, and God love the internet. Oh, the internet has done so much for professional wrestling. Thank God for the internet. There's been a lot of talk on the internet about that night in particular, which was the second night of the January tour, the No Turning Back tour. For a couple of people, it was the No Coming Back tour.
The first of the night. I mean,
No.
night they were on the hunt, and they were going after Al with pillows.
Yeah. Well, so
Carino, they were coming. I said, "No, man, I'm going to the bar. I don't want no part of that."
Let me-
stalking it.
let me set it
Trying
up.
to draw Al out. They used girls to try to lure him out of everything, and then it went to the part with
Let-
the infamous,
let's set it up, and so we get back to the hotel after the show, and between getting back to the hotel and the bus coming to take us to the airport, there's about 7 hours, and Misters Carino and Hamrick, Old School X, decides to put some time in, because neither of you were drinkers. Neither Carino or you were drinkers.
We have to do something to entertain ourselves.
So you had to do something to entertain yourself, because nobody really, there wasn't anybody in the group who really thought to themselves, okay, well I'm gonna go sleep until the bus comes. Everybody
slept. Nobody.
Everybody stayed up for pretty much the night until the bus came. So what did you and Carino decide to do to spend your time until we headed back to the airport?
Well, you're skipping over the Jared incident. When we first checked in, everything that we did was Al Snow's fault.
Now this is on Thursday.
Yes, when we checked in, me and Carino's like, let's go mess up Al's room. So we go to the lobby and we ask for Al's keys, and she goes, well, Al Snow's in his room. We was like, who's not in their room yet? And they said, well, Jeff Jerry hasn't checked in yet. Why not? So we go into his room, we take the mattress off the bed, put it in the bathroom, turn the TV around, unplug the phones, nothing harmful at all.
Didn't break anything.
We didn't shit in his gear or nothing like that. And that was it. He wants to get us fired over that. I mean, wrestling and ribs used to go together, Now nobody can take them, and I think it's bullshit.
Okay, but that's Thursday, and that didn't even. There was no mention of that
until. That's my heat.
Okay, but hold on. That didn't come up until a week later. Okay, that was
Thursday.
Yeah, okay, that was Thursday. But then we have Saturday night.
Killed me.
Saturday night after the second show, and let me turn that back down. After the second, I got a sidekick. After the second show, and we've got the time to waste until the bus comes, and then you go get into something. And it's the two things together that end up in the email. So why don't we talk about what happened Saturday night?
Okay, here it goes. Hey, Ross.
I'll talk to you.
Me and Carino are in the bar, and I'm looking around, and there's no Al Snow. And I went, Al needs to be down here. It's our last night here. We'll hang out, blah, blah.
So you've spent the entire weekend trying to figure out how do you get Al Snow?
Yes, because Al's a big ribber.
They even called Marty Jannetty. They went old school all the way. These guys were serious. They wanted me to join in. I was like, oh no, this could lead to.
So I go to the lobby, and I call up Al Snow's room, and in a very good Tommy Rich voice, telling him that he's being disrespectful. He needs to come hang out. He won the boys and all that.
Do you, Tommy Rich?
No.
Do you,
I
Tommy?
can't right now.
Come on, Al. Come on down here, you pussy. Drink a beer, pussy.
Basically,
Don't wear that shirt.
Basically, that's what it was. You need to be one of the boys.
Okay, so
So Al goes, all right, I'll be down in 5 minutes. So we waited. So I went and got Carino, so let's go to Al's room. We're on the way up there, Carino goes, hey, let's stop by my room and get some pillows and we'll bombard him when he comes out. Why not?
sounds like a good idea.
So we partake in shenanigans. And we're sitting there knocking on Al's door. And what we don't realize is, Al's pretty smart. And he's sitting there watching us through the peephole the whole time. There's some English girls there. We're getting them to knock on the door.
Trying to bait him to come out.
And it's so funny because
He's a master at that.
Al's hollering, I'm using the bathroom. So we get the girls asking, like, is he taking number 1 or 2? And I got the one English girl, which was funny as hell, hearing her say, are you taking a stink pickle? Popped. So then, Al's sitting there, and I talked to him later on, he tells me, he goes, I have to go in the bathroom and, I pop, and I don't want y'all to hear me. And the whole time he's filling the fucking trash can of old water. So then Steve gets one of the girls, go, Al, you're disrespecting us like you did Tracy Smothers in the match. He said he had to go in the bedroom, close the door, and then pop, because it was loud. So finally we give up. As soon as we turn to walk away, Al opens the door, throws the trash can of water. It gets most of our pillows wet.
There was a truce, right? Y'all were leaving, and there was kind of a truce that he got you when you were leaving.
Yeah, Al broke the truce.
Yep.
So, the hotel, you have to walk down a long hallway to get to the rooms. So me and Steve sitting in there, and we're waiting for people to come through. And Dombrowski's the first one, and I hit him so hard in the face on the first hit, his glasses flew off.
Was that the pill fight on film?
Yes.
One on camera?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Whose camera was that? Was it
yours?
I took pictures.
Get to the part.
Who had the
where it
film? Who
happened.
had the film? Maybe Jay Phoenix.
Was it the Scottish kid?
It may have been Jay Phoenix.
Let's refer to him as the Scottish kid.
Okay, the one that got fired. And
That's it.
so
Man, that's cold, man.
then we're setting everybody up. I mean, like low key's our lookout. He's sitting there, and like when somebody come through, he would bend down and tuck his shoe in, and that would be our cue, and we'd bombard them. So then we got bored with that for a little bit. So
You started sending
Scottish
people.
kid.
So, did something happen with the Bish before the other?
no, it's coming up.
Yeah, yeah.
So-
You started sending the
Biggest,
Scottish
toughest guys in
kid
the company.
into the bar to get people.
Well, we'd send everybody in the bar. Like
Yeah.
whoever we would get, we would send them in the bar to bring somebody else.
Because the
out.
Scottish kid is who got me.
So Jeff,
I left the poker game, and you get the pillows were still wet when they hit me, and then I joined their group.
so then we go up to the Scottish kid's room,
Yeah.
and he's staying with some guy and girl, and they're laying in there in bed, and we go in there and we bombard them.
Burge.
Yeah.
You staying with Darren Birch, the
And-
Puckle one.
Carino hollers retreat, and they run out, and I'm stuck there with some guy and girl, and I don't know him. And I went, "Whoa, stop!" Smacked the girl in the face with a pillow and ran out the door. So then Jarrett actually called us. He wouldn't let us get him, but he goes, I'll bring somebody in. We'll set him up. It was so perfect. He brings in Johnny Storm. He goes, "Okay, Johnny, I need your number." So Johnny turns around and gives him his number, and we just bombard the shit out of him. So Jarrett was helping us set people up. Actually, the Scottish kid hit Abyss with it, and Abyss didn't like it really good. Yeah. So, I mean, like, me and Carino knew who to hit and who not to hit. You know what I'm saying? Like, we wouldn't hit Tracy because Tracy would be known, no. And we wouldn't hit Jerry Lynn because he's just so nice. You can't hit Jerry
How
Lynn.
can you, Jerry Lynn? That's like kicking a muppet.
Yeah. So, finally,
Jerry Lynn is like the nicest guy ever.
One of the best.
So finally,
One of the best. Yeah, one of the best.
Finally,
workers.
the Scottish kid just grabs a pillow off of something and starts fucking nailing people too. So we're bored with this. I'm joking. I said, you know what? We need to go get the ones in the bar. Okay, AJ, Daniels, and Joe are in the bar playing poker. And I went, I'll get AJ. And the Scottish kid goes, I'll get Daniels. And Steve's like, fuck you, I'm not getting Joe. The Scottish kid goes, I'll get Joe. We're like, okay, it's a plan. So we tell him, we're like, once you get to the lobby.
Abyss has been assaulted.
Yeah.
6'8", 300 pound, nicest guy in the world.
Yeah.
He can,
Yeah.
yeah.
And so we tell the Scottish kid, we're like, okay, once we get to the lobby, it's balls to the wall, go in there and just start smashing the shit out of them. Count to 3, we do this, me and Carino stop, and all of a sudden we hear, what the fuck? Me and Carino's back in the hallway by then. The kid comes back in there and Joe's there. He grabs the kid by the throat, fucking starts paintbrushing him, takes him outside, and all the boys are out there now like, Joe, come on. Me and Carino's standing in the doorway.
Good time for a pause.
All of a sudden, fucking kid's ratting us out. He's like, Hamrick Carino. Joe looks at me and goes, Hamrick Carino gonna save you from this ass whooping? Me and Steve just kind of look at each other and go, nah, and walk back inside. So, that was pretty much it. It was just, he fell for it. I'm sorry, this shit happened, but the way I understand, he is a scumbag anyway, and everybody wanted him fired. So we actually did everybody a favor, Me and Carino knew not to hit Joe. We knew not to hit Daniels, and we knew not to hit AJ. The ones that we hit, we
What
knew
about
we
Biss?
could get by with. We
With
didn't
Biss?
hit him. The Scots kid did. So it was all harmless, me and Carino felt like we'd been grounded because everybody was looking down at us like, damn, man. Even Homicide Loki was like, yo, Hammer, that's fucked up. Oh, sorry. But I was over that in a couple minutes. And
See?
so we went to the room and Joe was there and Joe's like, no, if y'all would have hit me, that would have been fine because I know y'all. He said, I don't know that motherfucker. Yeah, he's stupid. Fuck
I
him.
saw that. They come in the room.
Mhm.
Yeah. Was upset.
So that was basically it. That was the famous pillow fight incident. So then an email to Steve over here, the promoter, and
Aren't you all going to be interested to figure out, read his lips real close to see what word we're beeping out?
and
I have nothing to do
it was
with
harmless. It was just a little rib,
Nothing.
and sends a fucking email saying that the thing with the Jarrett thing came up, and Jarrett had just fucking IM me on the computer. And he's like, hey, have you pulled any good ribs lately? And I was like, well, the next one might be on you. And he's like, well, you done got me, right? And I completely forgot about trashing his room. And
then?
then you sent me an IM
Yes, I did.
and said, hey, did you and Carino fuck up Jeff Jarrett's room? And I'm like, no, maybe. I don't know. We going to get fired? He's like, no, but we're getting heat because I sent an email to the promoter. And so I took all the blame. I told Kingdom, I'm like, I did it. He goes, who was your accomplice? I said, nobody. I did it by myself. And then Carino actually, he called you, right? Or emailed you?
Yeah, I sent Carino a message. I left Carino a message saying to call me and asked him what was going on. And then Carino took all the blame and then tried to leave you out of it.
Yeah. And so, and then I sent another email saying that something about the talent that shouldn't be on the show because they wasn't up to TNA's caliber or whatever, and it was me, Carino, Keenan, and Tracy, I believe. So especially if you wasn't TNA, you didn't deserve to be on the show. So I think that's bullshit.
Hey, bring Chris Hero, bring Claudio. How do you say his last name?
Castanova. I've ring-announced his matches and I can't pronounce his name.
If you're going to do what you're going to do.
Look at this. He stopped in the middle of his... Hero and Claudio, I hope you appreciate this. He stopped in the middle of his shoot interview and fucking put you over to get you booked here.
Yeah. Well, they're good enough to be here. They're real good.
He's burying you. You're never good.
There's a lot more, too. So if there's a lot more like them out there, and you know that. So you'd like to see them get a chance.
There's lots of guys. There's lots of guys I'd love to see over here.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so back to...
Yeah.
Like I said, my heat with him is, this is what I do for a living. This is how I feed my girl, and I got a little baby on the way. And for them,
When did she do?
March 23rd.
Really?
Yeah.
All right, man.
Yeah. And so for him to sit up there in that office at TNA, doing whatever the fuck he's doing, or whatever, and to send, try to get me fired from this because of a harmless prank is complete bullshit. Fuck him.
Well, let me go back. Let me go back. Hold on for a second. Let me go back. You actually were in TNA at one point.
Yeah.
Under the hood as Crimson Dragon,
Yeah.
which was basically your regular Chris Hamrick outfit without the Chris Hamrick logos on it.
Here's the deal
and
on
a
that.
mask.
I went and did my tryout match, and Jerry Jarrett really liked me. And Bob Ryder came up to me and goes, Jarrett's been looking for luchadors. That's before they brought in Conan and all them other guys.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, with your moves, you would be perfect. He said, would you be offended to wearing the outfit? And I went, am I getting paid? He goes, yeah. No. Well, fuck no. I'll valet park if you got enough money. So they told me, Bob Ryder called me Monday, and he goes, oh, by the way, we have you booked Wednesday. He goes, don't worry about the outfit. We'll take care of it. I said, okay, cool. So I get there, and they had easy money to make me a red pleather outfit, just like the one I wear, just didn't have my name on it, and a white mask. And I'm like, fucking Ray Charles could tell this was me, So I worked AJ and Jorge Estrada in three-way. We had a real good match, and they had me back next week working Sonny Siaki. Well, I called High Spots and had them to make me a lucha outfit, and I got it that Wednesday, and I put Siaki over like $1 million, and they never brought me back.
You still got that outfit?
Yep.
Still fit?
He's with WWE now.
Fuck, I don't know. Right?
Sonny's with
Sonny,
WWE.
yeah, he is.
He'll do good. He'll do good.
So I don't know what I don't know what it was. I don't know.
Did you hit some?
Hey, this is no lie. At the Hardcore Homecoming, Bob Ryder and Scott D'Amore come to me, and I was flattered that they did because I never thought I'd get a chance. To do it again. I was just glad to be working. I was just thrilled. I really was. Because I got out and I didn't think I'd ever get back in, but about possibly doing that as a trainer and an agent and possibly work or manage or do all or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I said, I'll do whatever y'all want. And they talked about it and threw it around, and then we did the ECW pay-per-view, and I stayed in contact with them, and then I didn't get it. That happens. There's a lot of guys qualified out there to do it and just to be in there with them again and as you say, in the mix was cool. So you don't take it personal that you didn't, but maybe, was told that possibly if they go 2 hours that maybe it could have a chance. But maybe something else may come up somewhere else. Maybe this 1PW could grow. You know what I mean? You'd like to see it. That's what I was going to ask. You guys should run something in the States because you have a different kind of, but I guess, I don't want to make anybody mad here to say it, but if TNA's TNA, WWE's WWE, you don't have WWE and TNA guys on the same show, so you hope that you can grow and make your own where, you know what I mean, and feature who you want. And that's why when I say guys like Chris Hero, and I say Claudio Castanova, and I say Colt Cabana, you know what I mean? I see Ace Steel over there. I see Chris Michaels, I don't know if you know who he is.
Yeah.
He's some guy, really good. I say Chase Stevens, but he's with TNA, so, I mean, I don't mean that, but they're going to run more shows. Well, maybe you build your own boys. There's a lot of these English kids. Chad Collier, you know him? Collier,
yeah, I know.
Man. But a lot of these English kids, and I don't know a lot of them names, and I watch them in the dark matches, and man, they're hungry. They're all good guys. I come over to work for another group we did called Brawl, and met a lot of good guys. And I know Brookside. Why is Robbie Brookside not on these shows? what is up with that? Somebody tell him. I mean, he is fantastic. He's one of the best in the world. He taught Regal
Yeah.
and that kind of thing. I mean, because you have some English guy, what's his, Alex Shane? You guys know him? Alex Shane. Yeah, Alex.
Alex runs
And you have
FWA.
them, you know, if you're running your country, you gotta have, like that kid, Harry Smith, he's an English kid, right? So, you know, maybe eventually it can get to like that, then you elevate them and put them in with guys, you know, from the States,
Yeah.
and put them right there in there with programs with them, not necessarily,
Yeah.
have your own against
Oh
your
yeah,
own.
Harry's definitely going to be back
Yeah.
on BW.
What did you think of
Who?
Burrow, when we came over here?
Oh, well, I mean, you know, he didn't get to advertise much, but you knew of that Brian Dixon. I guess he runs every night, right? And has. I don't know much about him. I was supposed to come over, but I know a lot of guys that work for him or have. I know Hero has, and Claudio and Chad, Nigel McGinnis. You guys know him? Nigel, Doug Williams. Doug Williams, really good workers. So they're a team in Japan, so you would want them. You know, I mean, that's eventually what you're working. You know, you're going to work
We'll be
toward
here at
because
some point.
TNA's growing over here. They're a separate entity. One PW is growing over here, especially with you have a 4-hour show before WrestleMania. Man, I don't think y'all realize that's really big because wrestling in England was a given, man. Those guys worked every day. You knew if you went to England, you better be ready to work.
Yeah.
They wrestle. You know what I mean? I mean, they wrestle. All of them can shoot. All of them can fight. They're all tough, and they're mean motherfuckers. Excuse my language, but they are. You get in the ring with some of them guys, man. You guys ever remember Scott McGee? You remember him?
Yeah.
Boy, he was good, man. He could have done great. And there's several of them like that. Les Thornton. Oh, I mean, he'd knock your dick in the
Man of Thousand Holes.
God. But they were, you know, wrestlers. And Finley, of course, he's not from England. Steve Regal, of course. Dave Taylor, you guys know, Brookside. And I think that y'all could run, to me, y'all could run all of Europe. I don't see why you can't. It's hot. It's over, man. Germany, that's hot. Am I right? Ireland, there's a guy who runs over there. If you could link it all together, it's forming the promotion and what they were talking about. It takes all that. But people have to work together and not stab each other and things like it's good. It's business, and you got to be business. And there's strength in numbers, and if you could form it all together, then you could possibly run a tour in the States if you needed to. But there's a lot of places that starve for wrestling, right? I mean, and here's one of them.
Yeah.
And so you'd like to see it grow. And there's a lot of talent. There's no problem with that between the ropes because there's so many guys, you know, that are not on contract with WWE or TNA that you know of, he knows of, I know of, and these guys do. So you'd like to see it, you know, come to where there's more jobs for the guys because then you always stay busy. When your run was up, you know, everybody stayed fresh and things like that. But it's just so hard because wrestling's got such a black eye. And it's hard to get venues anymore. A lot of times you have to work on it for a while, right? Because somebody screwed it up over here that has no respect for the business. Trashed the building, didn't pay the building rent, or didn't pay the newspaper or radio. And you hear that all the time. And it's usually guys that are non-wrestling people that have no respect. And there's a lot of them. You know, a lot of them. They work from home.
Yeah.
First time we met was 17 years ago.
Oh my God, yeah.
What
And,
happened?
Tracy was in Ontario. I'm from Toronto, Canada, and Tracy was in Ontario for a weekend tour of indie shows that this kid had put together. Aaron Weiss or something Weiss.
Like that. In hockey arenas.
In hockey, in rinks, arenas in around Northern Ontario, and teaming with Paul Diamond that weekend, all that week. Used to be part of Bad Company, AWA Tag Champs, and he's in
Rockers a
WWF.
lot. Yeah,
WWF Under the Hood
Kato.
as
Yeah.
Kato of the Orient Express, and I remember I came in and I did the ring announcing for the last show of that tour. Was in Orangeville, Ontario, and you know who was in the crowd that night? And they'll talk about it.
Who's that?
Adam Copeland, Edge,
Yeah.
and Jay Rizzo, Christian Cage. They
Yeah.
were in the crowd that night.
Hey, I took them the first time they come to the States. This guy, I didn't mean to get off this, but Adam and Christian,
Yeah.
and Bo James, I think, brought him in.
Yeah, Bo James. They went down there
3-4 days in
as the
Carolina.
Suicide Blondes to tag for
Yeah,
him.
and they showed me videos of them working in Indian reservations, and the ring one was bigger than this room. It
That's
was really small.
Tony Candello.
Yeah, they canoed to some of them and stuff. They were really
Yeah.
hungry. And
That's the 8-foot they used to call it the midget ring.
the guy had one of the shows. He took us back to his house, right? And the guy was Klan, Ku Klux Klan, and these boys never been out of the States. They never seen MTV, and I didn't know he was Klan either, man. We went down that bottom basement. I was like, oh, I looked at them. We stayed there the night. I think he wrote about it in his book.
Yeah.
I kind of wanted to forget that, but I mean, that happened.
But that tour in Ontario, that last show in Orangeville,
It's true.
Almost before the show started, probably before the show started, the promoter
The last day.
grabs
Right?
last day of the tour, pay on the last day, pay on the last day.
Gone.
Cash box gone, and guess who got elected to go into the dressing room? 18 years old.
Yeah.
Fucking tell everybody that the promoter was gone and there was no pay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and who was it?
We worked that night though, didn't we?
Everybody worked.
Everybody worked.
Everybody worked.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
nobody.
Lori took care
Lori
of it.
Joyce,
Yep.
and had helped put together some of it, helped in the book, and everybody worked.
We went back to her
And-
place and she wrote out checks, didn't
Yeah,
she? Right?
yeah, she covered a lot of the boys because there were a lot of guys there was a crew up from Baltimore,
Yeah.
and you were up from Tennessee and that,
yeah.
and that's when we met. That's
1989.
that's 17 years
Yeah,
ago, man.
yeah.
And
It's
now, and then we didn't see each other for 10 years.
Okay.
And it was first ECW show in Buffalo at the Burt Flickinger.
Yeah.
And from 100 paces, he recognized me.
Mhm.
And I couldn't believe it. That's fantastic. That's Tracy Smothers. But what do you want out there?
Austin Aries.
jeez.
Get a plug in.
Austin
The Badger Man.
Austin Aries is out in the hallway, and he has a goiter.
He is a maniac. That guy's a madman. I want to party with him. But anyway, what are we talking about? Hey, they can do it, guys. You guys can do it. You guys can be running 4 nights a week, Thursday through Sunday. It takes time to do it. You got to get. First of all, you got to do the positive things to even get back in these buildings. You got to have these guys and talk to them at these schools. You got to take care of. You got to get right with these kids, man. If you do that, you can get it turned around. Hey, my son, I just put him through 2 years of military school because when I got divorced, he was with my mom and dad 'cause his mother had drug problems, and that watching Raw messed him up. You know what I mean? And that messed him up. And when you see that, that embarrasses you to be in it. So and you just can't do that. And that's why your ratings drop in half. That's why your houses, sure, they're amused, but they're billionaires anyway. If you guys are doing great, DVD sales, books, and all that, right? I mean, that's the pay-per-views and all that. But you can't go in that direction because it's not. I mean, my parents hate wrestling, but all they ever seen is Raw. They think that I'm out there. I said, I'm not out there doing that. But my son, he goes with me when he can, and they don't know what he sees, but it's not that. And when you just can't do those kind of things. It make kids. I mean, some of this you don't want your kids to watch it because it messes them up. When it messes up your own, then you're just going, God, what have you put 23 years into? And it's just bad. They don't like it. I don't care. What are they gonna do? Fire me? They fired me twice. But,
So what about?
I want to kick Bradshaw's ass if I can. I want to fight him, man. I want to fight him, but I don't think I'll get to.
Hamrick, what do you think about Bradshaw?
I want to try.
Just wants to beat him up.
No, I just think that he has no respect for this business and the people in it. And if anyone else there don't like what I'm saying, they can line up around the ring.
God damn,
And I'll go 5 minutes with them all. It ain't hate. It's just, win, lose, or draw. He'll have some respect. And sure, I'm promoting myself. You got it.
So Tracy Smothers, how'd you get started in the business?
I don't know if I ever really did.
Good night, folks.
No, I watched it as a kid growing up, and I watched Nick Goulas. You remember Nick Goulas?
Yep.
He was like the Vince of the South, and I watched it growing up, and I can remember Bearcat Brown, Jerry Jarrett, Tojo Yamamoto, Dutch Mantel, Jerry Lawler, Bill Dundee, and all them as a little kid, and then Jerry Jarrett separated over from Nick Goulas, and I watched it all through school. And I liked it because a lot of them were ex-athletes, and you just liked the entertainment, and it was really cool. And you wanted to do it. We'd be doing spring practice, and we'd be running around the gym, and we'd have wrestling, pro wrestling, amateur wrestling meets between the rounds. Guys be out there stretching, and me and Jeff Chapman would be wrestling all through the stand, no psychology or nothing. And then in college, we did it with another guy, Roy Jones, and he was Dick Slater, and I was Buzz Sawyer. We'd watch the Georgia Championship wrestling. I never knew there was any wrestling other than the Jarretts and the Goulas. I never seen a wrestling magazine before I went to college, and I saw cable. I never seen cable. We didn't have it. I was out of sticks, man. And I thought it was cool. And I was getting disinterested in college. I went for football. I played football, wrestled, baseball, and a golf team in high school. And I played football, and I was supposed to wrestle, but I couldn't keep my grades up. Yeah, love golf. It's a good release. But anyway, and I wanted to get in the business and wanted to do, and that's why I go bug Steve Kern and Stan Lane. I'd see them in the gym Oh, and I didn't get to see the TV much, and they were pushing them as the fabulous ones, and I kept bugging them. I bugged them for over a year before they could train me, because they were real busy. And they took me to the ring 5 times and worked out with me about 4 hours and about killed me. And I couldn't believe it. And I got to ride with them to some shows, and they were really over, and the business was really good everywhere. I started in '83, and then they went up they got into a Waller. They went and worked for Vern, worked for the Road Warriors.
Mm-hmm.
And then I couldn't get in with Jarrett. Waller had a book, and him and the Fabs had heat, and I was guilty by association. And so I worked for George Goulas. That's where I met Tojo Yamamoto. So, and Gypsy Joe, and some of the Gorgeous George Jr. You guys remember him? Got to tag with him a lot. I learned a lot. New York Doll, if you remember some of their names. The Moondogs were in there a lot then.
What was your first match?
First match I ever had was with Barbarian, not John Nord, the other one, Barb.
Sione Villaha.
Yeah. Oh my God. He tried to work with me, but it was horrible. I got paid $50 for that. But then
You had $50 for your first match?
Yeah.
God.
That was for the Jarretts. That was their minimum. And but then when I went and did a
Hamrick isn't going to get $50 this weekend.
I went
Fuck
did
you.
I went and did a show at a skating rink, and we dressed in the bathroom, people coming in and out, and I went out there and worked, and the guy who had a hood on, he started shooting and started fighting me. So I beat him up, and then some other guys hit the ring, and I guess they were going to the Smothers, I don't know what they were going into. They hit the ring, and I thought, they always taught me, Steve Kern and Tojo, that if somebody hit the ring, but I didn't know if they were marks or not. I really didn't know, because none of them were wrestling types, and I didn't really move around them, so I jumped on them too. I got paid $5. He took me, when I came out of the ring, he paid me an envelope, and I looked, it's $5. I said, you want me back? He goes, yeah. I can't. And I said, I'm going to Shoney's on this. And I went and ate a big boy and fries. But then with Tojo and them, it'd be about $25. But I'd sell pictures too, and do, and $40, $50, stuff like this, paying your dues and driving. I'd drive for Tojo, and he taught me a lot. And then I started going down to the fairgrounds every week. Tojo got back in with Jarrett, and he told me, he says, you'll need to stop working for George and these other people. Oh, they're the shits. He said, come down and talk to Eddie Marlin, bug him every week. So that's what I did. And finally, Eddie said he'd use me, and he did that, put me in the ring with I'd worked with Barb already, but he put me in the ring with Kurt Von Hess somewhere. He didn't work with me, and that was horrible. Stuff like that. And then I went back to Independence Forbidden, and I started back bugging him. And then the Fabs came back, and they got me booked. And then they made me go back to wrestling school for 6 months, every Sunday, with Tojo. And Tojo didn't smart them guys up, and there was about 8 of them, and I'd have to shoot with them. And when we do stuff, pro wrestling stuff, we'd lock up, really hard. I'm tired, beat up. I'd work my job welding trucks all week, and work about 3 or 4 nights, and didn't really know how to take care of myself, and it hurt. I'd grab a headlock, and if I didn't grab it right, Tojo would hit you in the ear with that kendo stick, and he really would. And he'd get me, and I was smart in the business. Oh, God, he'd get me worse than anybody. Hit me in the leg and all that. I just want to kill that son of a bitch. But I'm glad he did now. Not really. Well, I am, I guess. But we'd work hard, and then those guys would break out and bust out in a fight with you and all that, and you had to watch it. And I'd have to go with all of them, and that was hard. I don't know if guys would do that now, but I wanted it bad, and I already was working, And then at the end of the workout, we do all that, and Tojo has doing squats, hitting the ropes, push-ups, and do all that. And then we go to shooting and chain wrestling and just basically fight. At the end of the workout, you'd get on your knees, and he would front kick you 10 times, have your arms behind your back, and he'd front kick you 10 times in the stomach. Then he'd take a stick and he'd hit you 10 times with it. And if you showed pain or you showed fear or you showed anything, he'd hit you in the head. It was brutal, man. But I guys quit. He'd get a big down payment from him. He quit. I couldn't quit her. I was done. I was blackballed. Wasn't going to get to work nowhere.
Yeah, but that's very Japanese, the way they treat the young boys training.
Yeah. So when I got back to work and I got to work with him, I tried to fucking kill him, man. I tried to kill him. But first time he took me in there to Eddie Marlin and Jerry Jarrett and them were sitting there, and he goes, Jerry, Eddie, I tell you, this kid, I thought he was going to, hook me up, right? And he goes, I tell you, this kid right here, his hookup is bad, his headlock is bad, his punch is very bad, everything he do, his kicks, everything, the shits, bad attitude, thinks everything's a shoot, and that, I'm just going, That's when they booked me with Kurt Von Hess, and I
Yeah.
screwed that up. So, but you didn't give it one chance. A lot of times, a lot of guys quit, but they made me do it for 6 months. And I'd walk out of there and I think, oh my God, how am I going to go to work in the morning? 'Cause I load trucks, and I'd go to the gym and I wouldn't work out. I'd get in the jacuzzi, sauna, the steam room, and I'd go back and forth, all of them, and just try to make it. But and I'd work my job 7 to 3:30. I'd have a 30-minute nap at lunch, and I would eat my food real fast, and I'd take me about a 20-minute nap. That was my deal, because a lot of times I'd work Memphis, say on a Monday, because I always tell them give me 2 hours notice, because I quit college to get in the business, and I said give me 2 hours notice. And Eddie Marlin, I bring my gear with me every day. A lot of times I'd fill in for guys, but I had to drive by myself, and I'd leave from work at say 3:30. And hustle to Memphis, get there at 7:30 just in time to get dressed and go to the ring. I was dead, had no fire, they trashed me. One time I drove all the way to Lexington, Lawler didn't let me work. He didn't. I was in there hitting the wall, I was so mad. One time in Evansville, he was, you know, they give young guys a hard time, and did. And, you know, I was really had it in my head to go and just do something about it with him, and Tojo will talk me out of it. But if I would have done that, I probably wouldn't be here now, wouldn't have been working, because you just couldn't do it. You couldn't.
How'd you hook up with the Crockett's?
Well, and I worked
Which
from
was, I mean,
83
most
to
people
86.
talk about the NWA. They
Yeah.
think about Mid-Atlantic.
83 to 86, I worked for Lawler and them and Jerry Jarrett, and I was part-time. I had my job loading trucks. Then 86, about 6 to 9 months, I worked for Bill Watts, Mid-South. Buzz
UWF.
Sawyer, learned a lot from him. Dick Slater, Murdoch, Mass Superstar, Bill Eadie. Ted DiBiase was there, Dr. Ness, Steve Williams, and Terry Taylor. He was the booker. He gave me my first job. And I was there about 9 months, and then went back to Tennessee. And Sting and Warrior were in there, and they were in
Blade
Tennessee
Runners.
before that. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. And then I went back to Tennessee for about a year. And Don Bass and Dirty Rose, he was one of the assassins of Jody, they gave me a little break and used me all right. And then in '87, I went with Steve Armstrong to Florida, and they did the Southern Boys. And then that's when Crockett come in and bought it.
Mhm.
And then we worked for them, and there for 6 months. And from there, I think I went back to Tennessee, and then I went to Continental for a year with Steve, and we started going to Japan for New Japan. Went 4 tours, and did about a year, year and a half. And then in 1990, we went to Atlanta, WCW I was there 2.5 years. And from there, Smoky Mountain, and I'd go to Japan 4 or 5 times a year for IWA, and that was a lot of fun. Then from there, WWF, and I'd get independence around it. In ECW at 2.5 years, and then did work for Cornette, and he'd get me booked on some house shows and TVs, and Pop and Dreamer get me hooked on some, TVs whenever in the area, and I do independence. And in 2000, I was trainer for about a year, I guess, 9 months, something like that. And then I worked for John Collins for, God, he might have me killed.
What was that main event?
Yeah, and then I got out.
Yeah.
So I'm just really, in 2001, after 9/11.
Came back for XPW.
Yeah.
Chris, what about you? What was your first match?
My dad used to run a little independent promotion with a friend of ours, Jerry Bragg. He actually still runs shows. And I remember, I was such a big Ric Flair mark growing up. And I was going to be a heel. And I was like, oh, I'm going to run my mouth so bad. Everybody's going to hate me, blah, blah, blah. Well, they had to push me through the curtain. I went and I did my match. I didn't say shit. And I came back. And then after that, I did a week-long tour in Oklahoma, which was, pretty fun. And then I came back and I hooked up with Italian Stallion. And I mean, the money wasn't that great, but I was considered like one of his top guys, And then just the Indies, really. And then I did...
I used to beg Cornette to bring him in, Smoky Mountain, because he could go. He gave me a concussion. He did. Caught him and cut him off, but he always had.
You guys, early on, you guys worked
Yeah.
each other?
we worked each other a couple times,
Yeah.
Smoky Mountain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's not the first time you met him, is it?
Smoky Mountain? No.
You were telling me before we came up here to tape this that you saw.
Oh yeah, I ain't never even told you.
You never
this.
told
you
him
fought
this?
for this.
This is awesome.
I was in the business, but I still would go to like the Crockett events when they would come to town or whatever. And you and Steve were heels, and I would sit there, and I would sit there in my seat, and I'd be completely quiet until Flair came on, right? I was sitting there, and all of a sudden, you just looked at me, and you did this right here, and it brought me. I'm like, you son of a. Oh, he's good. He's good.
The only person besides Flair that could pop him.
Yeah, he just shot me a birdie because I was just sitting there minding my own business. I went, what a motherfucker. You know? Yeah, that was he.
And how old were you? How old were you when that happened?
Wow. No, 17, 18?
Yeah.
Yeah,
How old were you when you had your first match?
16.
16. And you never said who was your first match against?
Just a buddy of mine, just a guy named Alvin Melton.
Yeah.
I just imagine how atrocious it looks, but I mean, it was alright.
God, there's not tape existing of it somewhere,
I
is
don't
there?
think so.
And if there is, you're gonna burn it.
Yeah, there's definitely no tape. I think it was actually before VCRs and tapes came out.
He didn't have heat with everybody then, though, Chris.
You know,
didn't he?
I don't understand the heat. I'm one of the nicest guys in the business.
You want to know why you got it? Oh, okay. Here we
Listen,
go.
I'm one of the nicest. Seriously,
defend
I am one of the
yourself.
nicest guys in the business. I don't care to put anybody over. A lot of guys are intimidated to wear me because I was ECW or whatever. So an Indian guy come up and go, man, you know, I'm blah, blah, blah. I was like, dude, if you mess up, I don't care. It's the Indies. This is where people learn. As long as you don't hurt me, I'm cool with it. And like, for example, I did a show for Jack Sabbath up in New York at Queens. They had me working a local indie guy, Grim Reaper. And I come in, I'm like, hey, you know, what's the finish? He goes, well, we've been debating on this for like 4 weeks. He goes, we really want to give you a win because it's Queens and ECW and blah, blah, blah. He goes, but we want to put our local guy over too. I said, put your local guy over and let me pile drive him off second rope after the match is over and get my heat back. And it's like, well, that was easy. That's well, all you got to do is ask me. I don't care about winning or losing because nobody's going to fucking remember it tomorrow anyway. You know what I'm saying? I just want to go out there and I want to give a good match. And I always do. I always go out there 110%.
No, there's no such.
And I don't understand
No
the
such
heat
thing
with the
as-
promoters or whatever because I've never refused to do a fucking job. And I go out there and bust
Went
my
out
ass
with a lot
for
of
people. You know what I'm saying?
girlfriends or wives.
Well,
things
you
like
know,
that.
it's part of being the boys.
It's not, nothing in the ring.
Well, you know.
Maybe it's the ribs. Maybe it's the constant ribs.
Well, I
Maybe it's the
got in
fact-
this business
Maybe
to
it's the
have
fact
fun.
you
He
can't go
buried
find
me
yourself fucking
For
ribbing something.
Norm, he gets on the mic, buries me, and look, I was really busy up to the 19th of November. This is no lie, and after that, I was off till 2 days after Thanksgiving. Took a break. Well, I jumped out and ate and did, and I gained 14. I told you about this.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
gained
we've talked about
14
yeah.
pounds from that point, the 19th to the 2 days after Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And my health was not good. I have a heart murmur, I have sleep apnea, I have a closed valve. I've had so many concussions. And I went down in Norm's show. I got caught with the ladder, and I couldn't make it. Ain't the best ways now. So 2 days after Thanksgiving, I worked a show Saturday, and I about passed out, and I got bad off. Well, I couldn't make Norm's show the next day. I couldn't do it. I couldn't even get out. I got out of bed, and I threw up, and I had diarrhea, and it was bad. And then I look on the internet the next day, and they replaced me with some young kid, and Chris gets on the mic, and and says, Tracy's off, got car trouble, banging a rat, I don't know, something like that. It's funny and everything, but the marks, they don't know. And then
Shirley Doe told me, he said, do not mention Tracy's health condition because we don't want to let everybody know he's in bad condition. I just did what the promoter told me. He said, go out there and just say something.
And I'm reading this on the internet, right? So I called him up and said, Chris, what the fuck is this? But he'll bury ice cream. And then the kid, he said, I got a promising young guy, what's his name? Right there.
Jason Cage.
And then they had the match and put him over and anything, kicked him in the butt and threw him out of the ring.
Well, I said, I got a kid that I think...
They got you out of heat.
I think the kid's
Not so much for me.
real
I
good.
know bother me as much.
I think he's the next, superstar in the business. And I looked at the announcer
It's
and I
a
went,
fucking wrench.
what's his name again?
Yeah, what's his name again?
That's not cool, because if you're trying to build your own guys, you don't do that, man. Okay? Don't listen to me. Don't listen to me. You're killing me. The other day I tried to call when you get him booked on one, and he had messed with the guy's wife. So that was extra. Don't matter, right? We're all talking shoot interview. This was in the past. I said, did you or did you not?
Look
He
at
said,
you
yeah, I
go
did.
red. That's nice.
And that kind of thing. And so that's heat. You have more heat in the sun.
That was with one person though, and that was years ago.
But another
And
guy
if-
over here
if
that
he
he's
still
friends
has
with
heat
won't
about
use
it,
you or
yeah.
anything to do. He's with if you're there.
If he still has heat about me touching
And that's your
his
home.
wife.
Yeah.
You know. You have
This
more-
is your intervention.
Hey,
Hey, I got in this business to have fun, and you know, and I'm sorry if a harmless little prank or something like that gets me heat, then it does.
what about the
But
time
no,
when
Shirley
you?
Doe told me to say that about you.
What about the time you and Chris Candido did that with the Rock's mask and
Yeah,
Triple H's?
that
Tell
was
that story.
awesome.
What? What's
New
this?
Era Pro for.
You've never seen a match?
No, New Era Pro.
Yeah.
That's Eddie Edwards
Eddie
up
Edwards.
in Cleveland.
He booked me and Candido. I mean, he had a good
God bless him.
a good card.
Yeah.
He had a really good card.
Yeah, Eddie Edwards could put together some good
And
cards.
so actually, the story is J Rock, superstar.
Big Daddy of Destruction. Give it up one
What
time.
time?
He tried to put Chris in an 8-man tag, and just switching everything around because he wanted to work with Candido. So Chris comes up to me and goes, "Hey, we're not working each other." I went, "Bullshit, we are working each other because it's the only card on the match that's being advertised that's going to happen."
Mhm.
So he goes, "Yeah, they got me in there with 7 guys. I don't know." I said, "Nah, fuck that." So I went up there.
Chris had his head
I'm
back
working,
in it
I'm
when
working
we
Candido.
did too.
You know, you've advertised it. He's here. I'm here. Fucking put the match on. So as I'm walking in, on the gimmick tables, I see the big rubber mask that you can put on.
Yeah.
They have the Rock, Triple
Yeah.
H, and the Undertaker.
So which ones did you
So
say?
I told Chris, I'm like, "Listen, we'll go out, we'll fight at the gimmick table, we'll each grab a fucking mask, and we'll go back in, and we'll
It's
do
great.
this shit." So he grabbed Triple H, and I grabbed the Rock. So we grab them, and we get in the ring, and we're looking at the
That was
mask,
great.
and we're looking at the people, and we're looking at the mask, and people saying, "Put them on, put them on,
Yeah.
put them on."
Yeah.
So we fucking put them on, and we do the Rock's moves and Triple H's
Yeah.
moves and all that
You
bullshit.
spit the water.
It
You
was
did the
so
rock
funny
bottom, and
because,
it was great.
Marty Jannetty was crying.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
swear to
Janetti
God,
was in.
he was
Janetti was
crying.
in as a regular for
New
Eddie.
Jack
at
was
that-
back
at
there
that time.
going, "Y'all motherfuckers are crazy."
They stole the show. It was hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, it was just because, like, you know, you got 2 ECW guys, so you think, okay, now we're going to get some hardcore shit.
Yeah.
And you're sitting there going, "The
That
fuck
was
did I
cool.
just see?" I don't know, but it was funny and it was entertaining.
Yeah.
God bless
So,
Chris Candido.
we did it. And when I told Chris, I said, "You know, we should do that." He goes, "That's why I love working you, Hamrick, because, you know,
Yeah.
you know what you're doing." Because, I mean, you do shit to switch things around, because, like, out of 7 matches, 6 matches are going to be wrestling. It's going to be the same formula, really. You know, it's just different guys, same moves and all that bullshit. So you give them something different. So, I mean, it's wrestling, 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 and then you laugh your ass off, and then it's back to wrestling. So you give them a variety of shit, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it didn't hurt me or Chris at all. You know, everybody loved it, so it was cool.
It was great because Chris had his head back in it, and it was a lot of fun. And
Yeah, that's
people
not
were crazy
even too
for it.
long ago now.
You know what?
When they took
The
it.
sad part is I saw Chris a month before he passed away, and we got to talking about the match, and he goes, "Man, is there a tape of that?" I said, "Yes, I have a copy of it." And I actually put it on my new best of tape,
Yeah.
DVD, and I was going to take it to Chris in Jersey that Saturday, and then he passed away before I could give it to him.
Yeah.
You know what I think about now when we're working on stuff for 1PW, and I think you know who would be perfect for this spot? It's Chris Candido.
Oh, Chris
Well,
was awesome.
I can't have Chris Candido.
Dude, you could be in the worst mood ever, and you
always
could
that
just see
way.
Chris walk in,
Yeah.
and you would start laughing. 'cause
Light up
he's,
the
Yeah.
room.
he's just so silly.
He just light up. he
I
always
remember-
that way, making you feel good.
I
about
remember when I
yourself.
talked to him in Smoky Mountain. This is before I really ever started traveling and shit. And we was talking about him doing the Indies. I'm like, you know, what do you make on the Indies? He goes, 500. No, nobody makes 500 on the Indies. Quit lying, you know. So, but then I realized the business. I remember my first big payoff. Ricky Morton got me. I was booked in Tennessee for like $50 for a piece of shit promoter, and I was at Ricky's, and he's like, "Hey, what are you doing Saturday?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm working for Duggar." And he goes, "Well, I was going to see if you want to go with me because Robert's not going to be there." And I was like, "Nah, I'm already booked." And then I got thinking, I'm like, "How much money could you give me?" He goes, "I'll probably get you $150. I'm like, "You're lying. Nobody gets $150 for wrestling." So he called up the promoter, and he's like, "Hey, Hamrick has another show, but he'd do it if you gave him more money." The guy's like, "Well, how much?" Ricky's like, "Well, $150. He goes, "Yeah, bring him on." I'm like, "Oh, shit." Yeah. So I figure you're screwed either way in this business because nobody knows you. You're not going to get any money because you're not going to draw anything. you do get a name built for yourself, you get the shit up. Well, I can't afford you. So you're screwed either way. So
Chris Candido, God bless him.
I love Chris Candido.
First time I met him was in 1991, and I worked for WCW as a Wildwood, New Jersey, and him and Tammy, and he could have been 16, 18, something like that. And he set up, he was so, we got there at 4 o'clock, some reason we got in, because we thought it was a jumping place, but it was out of season. It was in, it's jumping in the summer. It was a resort area. And so we got there at 4, got there early, and he was setting up the ring. He set it all up by himself, set all the chairs up, the whole building. Tammy did too. And I think they were college students, or maybe in high school or something. Grizzly Smith was the agent that night, and a lot of guys didn't make it. And they were short of guys, and he had his stuff. I was like, you wrestle? He's like, yeah. I think he said he'd been working like 2 years. His grandpa wrestled.
Yeah.
And he knew how much he wanted it. And I said, that kid right over there says he works. He goes, I got a son. He goes, I got a grandson over at him. Or something like that. Chris said something. I said, well, he said he'd been working a couple of years. I said, I don't know how he is in the ring. I said, he set everything up here. He was running around everywhere. And he worked that night and did good. And was real thankful for it. And just glad to see him get that chance. And they never used him again. But he just started working. And then he got in Smoky Mountain. And I had done a program with Brian Lee and Tammy. And that was her first thing there. And that was a lot of fun. And then finished that up. Chris was doing a little program with Tim Horner, and that kind of thing. And so he was finishing that up. Tony Atlas was going to come in. They were going to put Tammy with him and do the do the thing there with them. And Tony couldn't come. Vince wanted to take another look at him, and then they didn't have nothing for me. And they had nothing for Chris. I asked to work with him, and I don't know if they was going to do it with me or him. And the rest is history for him because he went home and did great. And you're glad when he had the drug problem, he kicked it and turned it around. And I made my New Year's resolution I never would work again. And then Ian said that Chris is going to be there, and that's what got me back 2005 to get my head all in it. And I was supposed to work with him and didn't get to. I know we didn't got much time, but I feel. And then I talked to him. I was going to Germany, and then he got hurt. I talked to him on the Tuesday, 2 days before he died, and he wasn't down or nothing. And you just can't believe he's gone. And you still feel his spirit. I can, tonight when I went down, it was on my heart before we went down.
Yeah.
And you had your.
I have myself. That's
you
what.
played
That's
Back in
why
Black.
it's on
I just
myself.
looked over, because he was on my heart, and that happens a
Yeah.
lot. And one time I left my tights in a town about 30 miles south of where I was going the next night, and I was home. It was a short trip, and I kept them black tights. I wanted to wear them, didn't want to wear nothing because of Chris and things like that. And I was like bummed out because I had to go 45 minutes out of my way, actually an hour and a half to come back and do. And that kind of thing, and then I'm right down at the red light, and I'm thinking about seriously turning around, just going, I'll get them next week, or whatever right there, and that song come on, and I just, and that happens a lot on the road. I can tell you this, and this is the God's truth. You think I'm crazy, you're not. My girlfriend witnessed it. One night I rewound Monday Night Raw, I'm not kidding you, and rewound it. I clicked rewound it on VCR, it does DVD too. I clicked it and rewound to it, I'm going in the bathroom, and then I have a video, it's a tribute. I don't know if you've ever seen it. Stuff from IWA, WCW, Smoky Mountain, ECW,
the music video tribute to.
Have you seen it?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, it's great. It's great. And that I always kept that in. I'd watch it a lot when I did. Well, I rewound it, and I go in the bathroom, and I come right there, and I hear that song. It clicked over from VCR to DVD. 30 minutes before, I just done something because he had helped me. Tom Pritchard, who Chris loved, and Ricky Morton before he got put in jail, and it was a way I couldn't believe it. I come running back in. I said, that didn't happen. I said, you saw that, right? She said, yeah. I said, I had some crazy stuff, like that.
It just kind of clicked over.
Yeah, it clicked over.
Yeah.
All my kids, it honestly did, and that's heavy. And so you feel like he's an angel. Guys like him. Eddie Guerrero, same way. I knew him since he's 16. He traveled with Hector. You can't believe they're gone. In body, but to always be in spirit, because I'm going to tell you what, and then maybe 20, 30 minutes or something like that, I dropped the VCR, I had it, I was watching Raw, and I just set it on the floor, I think I was sitting down, it clicked over, and it did it again. Then the third time I did it, and Renee turned around like that, and was like, no, I did it that time. But just the other day, that kid John Thornhill and Matt Holder, who were my witnesses, I was putting it on VCR, and I pushed open and eject, to eject what tape was in there, and not been home in a couple of weeks, and then I thought that was in there, but I honestly did on my kids, and pushed open and eject for the DVD, and started loading and playing that video, and then always a lot of times when I'm going to the town, it comes on my heart, and it's like you're feeling, and little things, the last comment, because he's just had a way of making you feel great, and It's sad that him and guys like that are gone. I could go on and on. But
So Chris, I mean, with Chris, it's purely an accident that what happened to Chris.
That
Broke his
happened.
leg and it was a staph infection. And I mean, I think if Chris had died 2 years earlier, I don't think anybody would have been surprised. People would have been upset, but nobody would have been surprised because you're almost certain that it would have been, the popular word now is his demons. But he had come so far to clean up his life, to reform his life and his career, and was doing so well.
He was.
And
doing great.
and it is purely an accident that happened to him, and he was gone. And I think that's why it's left such a hole. So many people have died in the last few years.
Yeah.
And I mean, people that since I've known the two of you, since we worked in the XPW, look at the people.
Yeah.
Wall gone, Jerry Tewitt gone.
Bobby Duncombe Jr. That's before that. Louis Piccoli.
Yeah.
Jerry. Yeah.
Yeah. Eddie. Eddie Guerrero gone.
Yeah.
Big Dick Dudley.
Hawk. Kurt Hennig.
Yeah.
God bless him.
A lot of people.
Hercules Hernandez and Wahoo McDaniel and things like that. And sometimes I'm traveling, I'm real tired. You think about it's weird too because you pray and you meditate and it's just like things come to you. Even Eric Acker, promoter in Evansville, that's run shows for 74 years. I can hear him sometimes like, I'm with you, dude. I got thrown in jail. I really did. And my blood pressure medicine I couldn't take. And it messed me up. And when I got out, he came on my heart, and it was just like he's coming to me, just like saying, I was right there. Why didn't you talk to me? Like he's right there on the throne. It's just, I've had stuff, and man, I know I'm nuts, and I know I've been hit in the head a lot of times, but my girlfriend the other night, I was coming back, and we had a long trip on the Ricky Morton thing, and was glad the whole time we were trying, if you saw that, it was helprickyMorton.org, help raise money to get him out of jail because of child support. And he had took care of his kids. He just never sent money to his wife. His dad did. And his ex-wife took $130,000 out of a safe deposit box. I know these things. I experienced it, saw it. And this girl Ricky messed around with, got him caught, screwing around. She was already screwing a guy who was pregnant. The whole time there, little things like that with Chris would happen. Chris just loved Ricky. And he loved him. And he wouldn't like it if you're burying yourself. So don't do it. I'm not being funny, but I say that to Chase Stevens because he has so much talent and he was with the Naturals. And when I see him, making mistakes, I'll just say that, they shouldn't do, coming to shows, drunk, things like that. I want to say to him that, he would be very proud of me now, because I think like that, and I know that's crazy, but I've had so many supernatural things happen related to him and other guys, and right here, I was looking for the Candido shirt before we did this, and I looked at this. Well, the other night, my girlfriend told me, I said, why were you so livid? Because she gave me my medicine when I was coming through, and I was heading to do the Ricky show in Oklahoma with the other guys, and I was resting and doing. I wasn't in a good way. I got to get it. I've got a cardio echogram. I've got the murmur and all that. I did the stress test. I've had so much scar tissue around my head that my neurologist just bluntly told me to get out and do. And he honestly did. And my cardiologist was a lot, leaner. He was like, started just looking at me. He knew the condition with that and that. And because I went down from September 22nd and I missed more shows than I did. And I thought, gosh, I just pray and I think about it and do it. I'd always feel him, man. And things like that would happen. And then when that whole thing happened with Ricky, stuff like that would happen. Whenever something with Tom Pritchard. And I had a dream one night. All my kids, I dreamed this, and it was so clear. I'll get back to what my girlfriend did. And I had a dream one night that I was going down the road and I saw Tom Pritchard over here. And he was talking on the phone. And was fussing with his ex-wife. That's what I can remember because I remember experiencing that with Tom, his daughter, and things like that. And he was just walking down the road. And I said, Tom, in my dream, I said, you need a ride? He goes, no, man, I'm all right. And about that time, in a white SS-396, it's Chris Candido. I was right across, almost hit him. This is in my dream. I spun the car around to keep from, and I looked, and Candido was right behind Tom. This is real. I dreamed this. And Candido was right behind Tom, and he was watching him. And you just like, I woke up and I was just like, it's almost like I'm just like going, dude, where you at? Standing, come appear right here, because you felt it so much. Well, then when I was coming through and I wasn't into my health is not in a good way now. I got rocked last week. I think I got a mild concussion. I guess I do. I got dropped. I thought I was getting hit with a pan. I got hit with something a lot harder. You know what I mean? I wasn't expecting it. But she told me that she had a dream, but she was scared to death, and I thought she was real spooked. And I can tell when she's working me and when she's not. You know, women don't work, yeah. But yeah, I'm sorry. And she told me she had a dream that Brian Hildebrand and Chris were talking to her and telling her to tell me to get out of the ring and to quit doing it, and to try to do something to help guys get it. More or less, just saying, get out of the ring yourself, help try to get something going, but yourself, you need to get out of the ring before it's too late. And she told me that, and I can tell when she was in there, that spooked me. And then over here on the way, I rested the whole way.
Yeah.
The flight was at 12:45. I didn't get out till
And you
5.
get out till, yeah.
And I was just taking a nap, and I was so tired, and I was so rocked and dizzy, just wore out. I'd not been off nothing but Mondays. I started back Christmas night. I had one night off. I went all the way through New Year's Eve. I had New Year's night off the next night. Then I went Tuesday, Wednesday, came here for y'all, and then got back Sunday. Started back on a Tuesday. I've been going Tuesday through Sunday since. And I feel him all. That happened a lot. The music comes on, and with Brian too, Mark Curtis. And it's just crazy, like cats, something with Brian, because he was really into cats, and if I'm around cats, it's something always does. It reminds me of him, or reminds me of his cats and things like that. And I'm just going, oh my God, am I losing my mind or what? Or even like Hawk, I can hear somebody talk, you know, like that, or Kurt Henry, and guys like that.
Well,
or I'd be thinking about him, or something be brought up about him, maybe something related to it. When Wahoo McDaniel died, I swear to God, I had it come over me to get something going, and I'm going to do my dead little best.
I think you're.
I'd like to see one PW, and I'd like to do, if I can get connected and do something with people to help them, because they're good people and they're good guys. It's a good time, and they're hungry, and all Europe, and because they only come so much, and TNA obviously is not going to exploit it. So
Yeah. You think you're going to get out of the ring soon?
I think I need to.
Yeah.
Maybe after this weekend. No, but I've got to go get an EEG when I go back.
Yeah.
I do, on my head on the 7th, and I don't know, what they're going to say, because I just took another, and I wasn't supposed to. But it scares you, and I don't want to. But for your kids, your friends. But if you can do something to help get something going, then maybe put more time into helping set up venues and set up things up, get buildings and get things in place. And that's hard to do and connect. And I always say about Vince, and I want to bust his ass, but that's just competitive, because you want to do that. You want to see them do good for the business, because regardless, we all have respect for the business. But when you get led, I always thought when you get led, you go for it, and you're going to have every obstacle known to man come to you. It's like with you guys, you got a 4-hour special before WrestleMania. That's a given. You know what I mean? And go with that. So put the best, because you don't have a second chance to make a first impression. So make that pop.
Yeah.
And if you could get on markets in Europe, not just this country, other ones, you could do something. You could do these places just like you do here. You could go once a month in them all and run and have 4-day tours. You honestly could. And you make it go once a month and do it where the guys are working Thursday through Sundays in every country. And there's enough guys out there to do it, but it's just setting it up to do. And I don't know. I'm like way out there, I know, but that happened, man. I've had things happen with Chris Candido. I can speak, just like when you did that. When I came downstairs, I was looking for Chris's shirt and I saw Brian's, and then I put it on because it meant a lot to me. And I saw him when he was yellow and he had the death card. I spent my birthday with him, and he just was just such a nice guy. I love the business, and he always kept telling me. And my friend Jesse Gray would always say to me, I can still hear him, I'd bitch about the business and bitch about how it is. He died in a car wreck, and he'd go look at me. His way was, he'd go, you like the wrestling, right? You always did, right? He don't watch wrestling. He never watched it. God bless him. He never did. He goes, quit bitching about it and start your own. I can still feel him doing that sometimes, and that's strange. And Chris and other people, and you'd like to see it be the way it used to be and provide jobs for do it. When I was on that Hardcore Homecoming show when Vince shut down Buffalo,
Yeah.
and did that. I mean, what's he worried about? Come on, But I'll shut up.
Hamrick, we're close to wrapping up. Hamrick, where do you go from here? Where does
This is my last year.
seriously?
Yeah.
What does Chris Hamrick do after 2006?
I don't know. Get a regular job, I guess. Become normal.
You're not gonna be
I got a
going.
little girl on the way,
Yeah.
looking to get married, so I'm tired of spending time on the road and all that, so. Yeah, this is it. This is last year.
Deputy Sheriff Chris Hamrick?
No.
That's not gonna.
Yeah,
that's something you see now. I know that's something we talked about a couple of years
yeah,
ago.
I would actually like to go to school and be a cop. I got a couple of cousins that are cops,
Your
so
cousins
it's
heading
pretty cool.
narcotics,
Yeah,
right?
and it's good benefits, and so we'll see what
Dangerous.
happens. But yeah.
Well, a little
they're-
southern
dangerous.
town. I mean, what's
Oh no, you'd be surprised. It's
he's
crazy.
he's going to be the crime wave.
I worked
Get
there.
him on the side of law and order.
I'll sell shit out of the evidence room.
Oh,
So you 2006 is it?
Yeah, this is it.
I want to be like Bob Armstrong. Where he's 66.
66
years old,
still
man. He's
working.
Still going. I don't know how he does. Gypsy Joe's like 74.
I just worked a few months ago. I worked Dominic DeNucci, 70, 71, 72
I think
years
that's
old.
cool, but I don't know. God willing, you can. I don't know. But you want to see things happen good for the young guys and get to do what you got to do, get to travel the world. Not that you were that good guy, but it was just work plentiful. There was a lot of jobs.
Yeah.
There really was, and you know that. You know, Toronto, they had Calgary was the Hearts, Dino Bravo, and
In Montreal, Gino
yeah.
Brito.
yeah, and Rick Martel and them, right? The
Yeah.
Bearman had Nova Scotia, didn't
Yeah.
he? And Eddie Graham had Florida.
And
Vern
Emile
Gagne
Dupree
had-
out east,
Emile
yeah.
Dupree, yeah.
Al Tomco in Vancouver and such.
6-8 promotions.
And I mean, you talk about we're in England. You talk about Brian Dixon
Yeah.
and
Germany, Auto Ones.
Yeah.
Auto Ones. I said Southeast or Alabama and all that was the Fullers. Bob Geigo, Harley Race had Kansas City. Vince Sr. had the Northeast.
Von Erich, Fritz.
Von Erichs had Dallas. Murdoch Mulligan had out West Texas. The Blanchers had San Antonio. They were all offices. Bill Watts had Mid-South. Jerry Jarrett, of course. And even the Poffos, Randy Savage and them had Lexington, Kentucky. And there was a lot of places to work. In Japan, like I said, Baba took 16 guys. Noki took 12 or 16. All the others took about a dozen. There's 5 or 6 of them.
Well, maybe we're at a place now where wrestling is ready. The business is ready again to have
Yeah.
territories like that. Maybe we get Tracy Smothers gets to hand down a bit of his knowledge and get
You just
something
like to
going.
get something going where the guys have a steady job and made a living out of there. Because I've worked hard where you raised your kids and you know what I mean. And guys did, and if they moved around, they did. They had a home there. Maybe they'll get an apartment with another guy if they had to go somewhere for a few months. And it's not really like that no more, and it's too bad. And by him taking the guys and running their territories, he closed down a lot of places, and people lost jobs and basically lost their mind, because life that's all they knew, and that's sad. And if he's, doesn't like what I'm saying, I'm not hard to find. I'm not hard to find. He can go to hell.
Hard to find.
But I'd like to fight Bradshaw before I finish. Man, I would have told all that. I don't know if I can kick his ass or not, but I'd like to find out. 'Cause it'd help
Fuck Bradshaw.
man. Number one.
Who else, Hamrick? One, get in your last. This is the end of the tape. Get in your last. Fuck you.
Said mine. The
Yeah?
only heat I have is Bill Barons, and that's because he tried to cost me paydays. Just I don't have heat with TNA in particular.
We need
just
this
Barons.
is such a down note. We need an up note. Okay, we need squeeze out a couple
Did he
more
try to
minutes of
get you
tape
off
here. Can we?
Yeah.
Okay, Hamrick. We need to go out on the up note. Ribs. Give us some rib stories. Some quick rib
Okay,
stories.
the best one is this indie guy in South Carolina named Neil Nitro gave me a VHS tape one time. It had Best of Hot Commodity in ECW. He said, Hammer, take this home and watch it. So I take it home and watch it. It's a porn. It's, black guy's fucking a white chick. So I cut it off. I called my friend.
I wasn't in it, was I?
No. I called my friends. I said, call and tell him that you can't believe he did that because, like, 6 years ago, whatever, I was about to be married. And before I got married, my wife got raped and killed by black guys. So this went on for like 3 weeks. I mean, like, he would come up and go, hey, man, if you talk to Hammer, they're like, I'm not talking to Hammer. Fuck that. You're crazy. So we were actually on the show together like 3 weeks later. And his friends came up to him and said he's scared to death, blah, blah, blah. So he walks up to me, and right when he gets to me, I walk off. And he's scared to death. So finally, I get all my friends in place to where they can watch what's happening. So I go and grab him. I go, hey, man, you need to talk. So we go outside. And I went, dude, I can't believe you did that. So I know I've said it on some shoot interviews, and I think it's fucked up. He goes, he's like this. He's like, Chris, I swear to God, if I would have known, I would have never done that. I would never disrespect you. And we're trying to do a shoot here. And so he's shaking. So I'm like, well, the best thing you can do if we're on shows together is stay the fuck away from me, because I think you're a piece of shit for doing that. And, brought up bad memories and all that. So I actually had a switchblade knife. I pulled it out and I held it to his throat. I said, I got one question for you. I said, you really think I'm a good worker? I said, you got work, bitch. The motherfucker cried. So
That's
I
a
thought
very
it was
dark
pretty
storm.
good.
I know who he's talking about. You about cut his throat. You really did. I know the story you're talking about.
That's your best rib ever?
Yeah, that was pretty good.
That's good.
Just the fact that when I saw the tape, that came to my mind to play that reel, it's pretty sick. So, yeah, that was one of my good ones.
Have you got anything planned for this weekend?
No shenanigans.
Not a single shenanigan?
None. I'm not getting any more heat whatsoever with 1PW because then I'll be fired before I quit at the end of the year. And I like it over here, so okay, maybe one or two, but nothing more.
All right.
Besides, Steve's not here, so he comes back what?
He comes back in
May?
May?
Shenanigans in May. Keep reading the websites. You'll read about them.
Pillow fight.
Pillow Fight Club.
Famous pillow fight. A pillow. It was
He
a
said
pillow.
that you said all that. That's what sells the tape.
Yep.
Anybody else you want to know?
That's
No,
it.
that's everything? All right. I think that's everything. So, on behalf of 1PW and Tracy Smothers, Chris Hamrick, Team of Southern Comfort, I'm Anthony Kingdom James, and good night.
Bye, man.
Enjoy that.